Right. Do you have the itinerary, sir?
I've got it.
Okay. Right, so, first of all, introductions! Moment. This is I, Agita Swiftly, and I'm joined today by...
Graham?
So we never had to do this before, we never had 3 people on the podcast, it's like, both of you, just go first.
Delayed.
Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
So, today's podcast is going to be Digimon, as it's now the kind of the big thing, as Pokemon is now dead to everyone because it's just so overpriced, and the stock amount of it is so ridiculously tiny.
Yeah, but there's no stock on Digimon either.
Digimon's had its actual allocation, so it hasn't been shorted, but the supply itself was just short in the first place.
All those Facebook pages that you added me to recently,
man.
just like, when we eventually get our stock, what deck should I start building? When I finally get my cards, what should I look at?
Yeah, it's like the same questions. Like I've complained about people complaining about this question constantly being asked, but it's like people just want to know because they can play the card games. No point spending like £200-300 on a card game and not being able to play it because you picked the wrong thing. That makes perfect sense. It's literally the same question like every single hour.
You say that, but I've spent thousands on Pokemon, and my deck hasn't been playable for at least 2 generations.
But did you spend thousands of pounds on that deck specifically, or just on Pokemon cards over the years?
Oh, Pokemon cards over the years, yeah. I've not spent thousands on a specific deck.
Like, my deck cost me, I think, I got very lucky because I pulled some Isations, but my deck cost me, like, I think, like, maximum of, like, £90. And that is literally the world champion winning deck that someone used to win the championship. So it's like, that's how good that deck was that I built and thought of myself like a year ago. Yes, Graham, I will be salty for the end of times for that.
I'm saying nothing, I'm staying quiet.
Yeah, so just for some clarity, me and Graham have already recorded this episode for like 2 hours, and then the sound at his end didn't come through when I recorded it.
Not my fault.
No, not his fault. Apparently it was my end, but it works this time, so fingers crossed it stays working. But I feel like we've all spent ridiculous amounts of money on Pokemon cards over the years, and none of us can sort of go, no, we haven't.
I try not to think about it.
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
Me and Catherine spent at least...
I've ever done is I bought a box of booster boxes for one of the releases.
So you brought a case?
I bought a case.
What a man.
Wait, that's over £500, isn't it, in one go?
It depends where you go, yeah.
I got you.
We're talking... It would have been an XY set, so they were like...
£80-ish then?
£50 to £70 a box.
Did you get like from actual retail prices, or did you get them for store prices?
Oh no, I got retail prices, but this was like early doors, before Go. No one knew what Pokemon cards were anymore because...
Yeah, because was it like Phantom Forces was the last set before Pokemon Go, so they were quite a little bit cheaper. Like I think the average box was like £75.
Something like that. They were ridiculously cheap. When I look back now, I'm like, why did I not stock up and buy everything?
As I said to Catherine, if I had the foresight, obviously I was a child when Pokemon first came out. You guys are both a little bit older than me, so you had the kind of like mentality of a slightly older child. But as a young child, it's like, I just want to open these packs of cards. I don't care if they're worth any money in 20 years' time.
Thanks, I think.
Well, you're like what? You're
that much older than you.
No, but you're like a year older than me anyway. And I think Graham's like 2 years older than me. So like, I think Graham was in secondary school when Pokemon came out. You were like possibly just starting secondary school, so I think you had a bit more kind of like money thought for. And I was just like, I just want to open cards. I don't care if they're worth money in 20 years. I can't play with money in 20 years.
At 11 years old, you still don't give a shit about the price of a piece of paper in front of you. You just want the shiny thing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've heard people say like around that time period before Pokemon Go came out, they were selling like near mint Charizards for like 25 to 30 quid because that was the average price for a Charizard card back then, raw.
I bid on a English base set, so not the Shadowless, but it was the
set edition
4?
4? Edition 4, I think was the English one.
Yeah.
But it was the limited edition English print that had the English dates on the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's still quite a rare deck that was only released in England for 6 months.
Yeah, it was just the first wave, wasn't it?
Yeah. I bid on a complete set of that and lost out on it by £1, and I bid £100 for it.
When was this?
Wow.
This was before Go, before Pokemon cards, like before
The boom.
like, yeah, this was years ago.
So,
And I still cry to this day because if I'd have just bid
That works for pounds, yeah.
£1.50 more,
Yeah.
I could have had what is now worth maybe 1,000.
oh yeah, that Charizard. If that Charizard's nice and minty as well, that Charizard its own's worth like £500-600 now. Just the price has just gone crazy because we just Tangent is already here, so sod this. So Digimon, you're dead for 5 minutes or so. So we were just discussing like a minute ago about Mr. Paul.
Yeah,
And
Logan Paul, yeah.
his second bloody first edition box. So what was it, $402,000?
It's ridiculous.
Hate that cunt. Sorry,
I hate him.
frankly.
I don't necessarily hate him for like
He has
Pokemon
ruined
stuff.
the Pokemon trading card game forever.
I wouldn't say he's ruined it. I've just said he's picked a very inopportune time to join the
So
group of
the
us.
evolution.
No,
set
evolution's
that
just shit.
he's-
That's just a burn hell.
Yeah, but he has bummed that to the
Oh,
point
yes.
where a booster box is now £1,000. Yeah, it was the most overly printed, most available set known to man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys actually ever watch my videos, especially my Pokemon ones, where you get like the additional evolution pack per box. I always use. There's a video of me seriously getting it like 6 months ago, picking up the Venusaur pack and chucking it against the wall into a bin because that's how I feel about that set. That set is absolute dog shit trash. It's it's the exact same way I feel about Champion's Path as a set. Like it's our premium set and it's just dog shit.
It's not a dog shit set. It was just overprinted to the point where everything up until now was worth pennies.
Oh yeah, like I could buy a full set of evolutions for like £80, and even that was like a bit steep in my eyes.
Yeah,
And then like this year it's like £700 for a set. It's like it's not really worth any money though. Like nostalgia is nostalgia, but it's not worth anything.
No, and it was in every single collection box, every single Pokemon tin, every single
they-
Pokeball. It's just, you don't need it.
Yeah.
Because they've overprinted it, I
Yeah.
opened a Sword and Shield tin and it still had evolutions in.
Yeah.
And that was 2 or 3 sets prior.
It's
Well, it's
the
a
last
whole
time it
generation,
was,
isn't
the
it?
last
You've
time
got
it was
Sun and Moon
printed, I
at the
think,
time,
was in
Yeah, exactly. So it was...
Rebel Clash. Rebel Clash was the last time it got printed. So that's still 5 years of additional printings that it didn't deserve. And then they turn around and go like, oh, we can only run this XYZ set at 30% capacity. Yeah, because you're printing hidden fakes constantly. You're printing evolutions for the last 5 years. You don't need to run those things into the ground anymore.
need to they need to go right. We've printed. We're going on to Sun and Moon now. We'll stop printing EX. That's it. It's done.
Yeah.
Sun and Moon, then Sword and Shield. We'll stop with the Sun and Moon.
I'm okay with like doing the last set into the next set, but obviously you only go one backwards.
Yeah, a little bit of overlay.
So you do like a second print run. I'm
But
okay with like having a second print run because, you know, supply and demand is always a thing. People generally like that one set. Cosmic Eclipse was a trash set in my opinion. There's like 2 good cards in the whole thing. So that does not need a second printing, although it's getting a second printing. It doesn't need it.
Which one's Cosmic Eclipse?
that had the Charizard Rachel in it.
No, that's
Okay.
that's the other one. Cosmic Eclipse is the one with the
You sure?
yeah. Cosmic Eclipse is, I'm trying to think what it is. It's the one with the triples in. It's where the babies are in. Igglybuff,
Oh, yeah, the babies,
Togepi,
yeah.
that one, that set.
God, yeah.
The last fairy set is probably the best way to describe it. But that set as a whole just doesn't really have any value in it.
The way that they've made the Pokemon cards now, where there's 3 different versions of the same card.
It does have Charizard and Rachel in it. Sorry to interrupt
Does
you.
it? Oh, Bracian. Yeah, Bracian. I hate Bracian. Awful. Of any of the starters they picked the worst one. So the others are all cool, like Piplup and Blastoise, yeah, that's cool. Snivy and Venusaur, yeah, that's really cool. Brexon and Charizard, what? No, like any of the others, like Cyndaquil, Torchic,
Blaziken.
Blaziken, like any of those would have been cool. But like the fact they picked the Pacific like worst fire type ever is like, yeah, whatever. That's actually why it's the cheapest Charizard card still.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it does, I mean, the one thing I did like about Cosmic Eclipse was the character cards.
Oh yeah, they were
Yeah,
awesome.
but
Like, that's literally
they were
the
quite
cool
cool.
thing about it. They're expensive now.
my main collection is the trainers, the full art trainers.
Mm-hmm.
I will go all out on full art trainers. I can't give a shit about the Pokemon cards anymore because it's like, oh, you've pulled this one. Oh no, but it's the cheap version of the expensive. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
So, oh look, I've got to open another 400 packs just to pull like the hyper rare.
I don't know how you guys care about Max Mofo.
I'm aware of him.
I just think Australians are funny, and they're all like that.
They're all a bit nuts. But he for Christmas he was given 2 booster cases of Burning Shadows. If you don't know, the joke on his channel is basically after every episode he opens at least 1 pack of Burning Shadows to get the Charizard. And like, what's Burning Shadows now? Like 3-ish years old now. It was the same set number.
Fucking years ago.
Yeah. So Burning Shadows is the same set number as our Vivid Voltage. So it's the 3rd set from the last series. So yeah, it's 3 years old roughly. And he gets these booster. He gets 2 booster box cases. And he's meant to get a 3rd one, but his friend goes, "That's not going to be here for a little bit longer." So he says, "You know what? Thanks to the Christmas presents, this is just too much anyway. You keep the 3rd one." Cracks open his first pack in the 3rd one, pulls the Charizard, and it's like, "Shit, man, I'm not getting this Charizard now." It's the joke is never going to end. So he's opened up like one of these cases, put them all on the table. He's going through them. It's about like an hour into his like recording, and he's like, "I finally got it. I finally got the Charizard." But it's like the second wave printing, so like the back is all like chewed up to pieces. He's like, "I don't care, man. This thing's like a PSA 1. I don't care, man. I've got this card. We can stop the goddamn challenge now. It's stupid. I've been doing it for 3 years. I'll try something different, but I hate this. I just hate this." And you can see like the joke had obviously been that played out that he just couldn't deal with it anymore. But those Charizards are actually really rare, like surprisingly rare.
Like the Chunky Chew.
They did annoying.
I wouldn't know about the Chunky Chew. I've got one now. Ha ha ha.
I've got a Chunky Chew and the Charizard.
I haven't got the Darkness of Blaze Charizard. I've got the Champion's Path Charizard.
Yeah, but that's the rarer one, the more expensive one.
Yeah, it's 300 and something still, so I'm happy with that. This is the thing, like, I get all these cards, and it was like, "You don't have any money ever." So I have a little bit of money, but I don't sell my cards, so I don't, like, gain the profit of whatever I open.
No, exactly. So the Charizard that I've got, I don't know if they ever fixed it, but there's a really annoying misprint on it.
Is it the element symbol?
No, it's got a 2 retreat cost, but they've printed the texture for a 3 retreat cost.
Ah, okay. Makes more sense since it's a fully evolved Digimon, Pokemon.
So I don't know whether they ever fixed it, but they probably didn't.
I don't know. I presume the second print run came like straight after the first one, so either they never noticed it themselves or they fixed it. But I'll have to go watch the video and see.
Oh, that was the first I ever heard of that. I never knew about that.
There's a few cards out there that have got like slight like off prints that like they all have.
That can help us steer back into the original topic.
But before we do, just to sort of end the like whole misprint thing, obviously everyone knows like the biggest misprint ever in history is the Machamp.
Yeah.
Every single Machamp has first edition on it.
Everyone thinks it's a first edition, so they're like, "Oh, look at my Machamp that's so overly printed."
Mm-hmm.
I suppose there's someone who's probably not in
every single starter deck.
No, it wasn't the starter deck. It was the PC thingy deck, wasn't it? What was the player deck?
It was the base deck.
The starter deck, the blue one.
Yeah, for the PC, wasn't it?
No, it's the blue one with the.
What was the PC one then? Because the PC got like a card as well. I thought that's where the Charizard, the Machamp came from.
No, the Machamp came from when you bought the
original
base
Pokeball
theme deck.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah,
was PC called Porygon?
It could be. Makes sense. It was.
I have a Shadowless Machamp anyway, so.
Well, is it first edition Shadowless Machamp?
It is first edition, yes.
Yeah, but it's like only first edition cards at Shadowless.
Were never released in England anyway, so.
No, they were the American printing.
I don't know how I've managed to get it. I've always had it. I just don't know where it came from.
So it's like the really weird thing for me, like the fact that America has like Shadowless and then first edition and then second edition and then third edition and then we have fourth edition. It's like, how did that happen?
Because we're a very small, teeny tiny island who still doesn't have access to the Pokemon Center.
No, it's just like the amount of printings before we got our first printing. It just seems ridiculous. That's like 9 months worth of printing before we got our first one.
Yeah, well, you gotta remember, it's like.
I do remember the back in the days where like
then we were
an American game would take like a year to come to us because it has to be like translated for like 2 words.
I found out the other day why American has different spellings for words like colour.
Yeah, I found out a little bit as well. It's just so they could differentiate themselves from the English when they were trying to escape us.
No, they were charged per letter whenever they put anything in the paper.
Oh, okay.
So they always dropped superfluous letters just
Well,
to make the
I always
word
heard the
shorter
reason
and
why we
complex.
had like the S's and the Z's the other way around is because they basically went like, well, this is a new language. And it's like, no, it's the exact same language. You're just changing the S's and Z's around, you weirdo.
Okay.
It's like
So
realise.
we can talk about.
Yeah. Microsoft. Right, Digimon. That's what we're here for. What are we like 20 minutes in already?
Yeah.
So, Digimon. What do you gentlemen know about the Digimon TCG?
Absolutely sweet FA.
Very little.
So, Graham, you're now our expert because you know a little bit more than Nick.
Yeah.
So, essentially, for those who don't know, Digimon TCG comes out on the 29th of January, which is a week yesterday for us. So, for you guys, it could be 5 days, because it's probably going to go up on Sunday, because I've got to edit it still. Yeah, 2-hour podcasts are fun to edit. As far as I'm aware, there is a supply issue currently going on with the ports, because like Dover and Calais are just basically chock-a-block, and have been for like a month now.
Like Brexit and COVID have not helped get anything in or out of the country.
COVID is just like shot everyone in the leg, and then Brexit just like broke the other leg. So the only way I can describe it is like you just cripple people, like you've double crippled people. In all fairness, like we knew Brexit was happening, but obviously COVID on top just wasn't going to help anything else.
No.
I like the fact that custom charge has gone up now, so it's a bit easier for us to get things into the country. What's that? You paid £16 for something from Play Asia? That's £32 charge postage. What? What are you on about?
You don't pay port duties anymore and play on anything from Japan. Up to 150 quid.
I know, right? I'm so happy about that, because like I brought something years ago from Play Asia. It was like £15, like 10p. Obviously postage on top, but because the postage like took it to £20, it was like, oh, you now it's like £34 in like customs. It's like, what do you mean?
£15 handling and
Yeah, it was like FedEx just charges for taking it in. They're like handling charge. They're like custom tax charge or something else. Like the thing I brought's like not even worth that, like half that price. What are you on about? Like keep it. Like, oh no, we can't keep it. It's like, well, I don't want it then. You're going to charge like double the price I paid for it.
send it back and you get your money back, minus shipping.
Yeah. I can't remember what they did. I think they just turned up my house one day and like demanded the money. I was like, what's wrong with you? I said no already.
I had one, I can't remember where it was from. They delivered the package and then invoiced me for it afterwards, and they're like, well, you've already got the package, so now you owe us.
And I'll be like, I don't have a sign for it. I don't have anything.
But your response is, I've already got the package. What does it matter?
They're like, we will sue you. I'm like, right.
Yeah, so I'll take. Yeah, it's like I'll take it to like bailiffs. It's like, what are they going to do? Come take like £30 out of my pocket? What are you on about?
Bailiffs are only legally allowed to take shit out of your house for council-related fines.
Yeah, that's what I was like. They can't physically take any money off me. So either way,
No,
back to COVID, back to Digimon. Tangents are so easy on this podcast; it's ridiculous.
I think just when you're chatting, tangents are easy.
Yeah, because I like to say I like to have fun on the podcast. I don't think anything is ever like regimented. As we've got an itinerary, but it's very loosely based on like these are the things we want to cover, and then sub bracket these are the things we'll probably cover.
Well, these are the things we covered last time, but it took us 2 hours because an hour and a half of that we were talking about Pokemon.
Yeah, and what was it? We're talking about Pokemon mechanics and magic that like defy other mechanics because it's the original like card game for like the Western world, and then like how much we hate Logan Paul.
Pokemon trading card game came from. It was a toned down version of an easier to play version of Magic.
Mm-hmm.
To a degree, yes. Yes. So obviously it's based off like an old Japanese card game from like the 60s, and then obviously it's like got toned up with modern day stuff, and then the only other modern card game at the time was Magic, so they kind of went like, yeah, that works, and then Watsy went like, well, since you're kind of ripping us off, can we do it for you? It's like, oh, I guess so. Thank you.
Why, was there a set before Wizards did any?
Yeah, like the original Pokemon stuff in Japan is like 3 years older then. That
The
stuff.
vending machine sets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
there is actually there's a card game before the card game, which doesn't make much sense, but there is. And then
when
WotC
they've got the blue and the red back.
yeah,
I
yes,
think
like
that's
the old
right.
card game one, yeah. And then basically WotC went like, hey, look, if you give us a little bit of money, we'll make your cards for you. And they're like, yeah, sure, it makes it easier for us, right? And then they realised like how much money they were losing. It's like, no, we want it back now. That's a lot of money. But I will always hate WotC for what they did to those sets after the first set.
What do they do?
So in Japan, every pack is guaranteed a holo from the like set 2 to 6 or 2 to 7. Basically, from like the first generation till Neo, every pack is guaranteed a holo. In the English version, you have holo versions and non-holo versions of rare cards,
Fucking hate it.
Oh yeah, don't.
and that's how
So-
they made money on those packs. It's like, oh yeah, like instead of having a 32 box of holos, you now have I think it was meant to be like a 1 in 2, but I think it was like more like a 1 in 3. So you had like 11 packs of cards that have holos in. The only set they didn't do that with was base set.
The Final Fantasy card game, all their cards come in regular or hollow.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just like, why?
to a degree, technically Pokemon does that now, where you have like reverse holo cards. So every card
Yeah,
can be
but-
shiny to some degree.
Reverse hollow don't mean shit.
I don't
Hey
like
man,
those
they're
hollow.
pretty. Calm down.
Unless you want what the people call a master set. I
Yeah.
don't really collect.
I said to Catherine once, "Can you get a master set?" She just looked at me like I'm an idiot. I was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." I was like, "Then I want all the
I
holos."
nearly have a master set of evolutions. I'm very close.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I've got one. Like we got like
I just don't have the
you've seen that
promos.
stuff.
Master sets don't include promo, so you're alright there.
To
Yeah.
some people they do. When you,
I've
I've
seen
seen
people
on
who've been
like, the
arseholes there.
Facebook pages, people
When you
all
go on
want to do master
eBay
sets.
and you look at master set, they don't include
It's just the core set. It's just the core set, obviously with holos and reverse holos. That's all it is.
anything that you can pull without having to like have been somewhere first.
So since we're talking about promos, and because I'm an arsehole, because you know I love promos, Digimon has a thing called a tournament pack, which is essentially the same as like a Yu-Gi-Oh game where they have tournament pack. I don't think Pokemon's ever really done tournament packs. In all fairness, we do get our battle box promo thing, but it's not really a tournament pack because obviously you technically you pay for that. You pay for the privilege of owning that pack.
Then there was
You got like your judge promos, but they're not really promos. They're like just regular cards out of the set that have judge on it.
oh yeah,
Or league on it, and also judge versions. But in
Staff.
Digimon, they've got this. Yeah, staff. Staff is the one from the boxes. But in Digimon, they've got this weird thing where they're having what they call a tournament pack or tournament tamer party pack, and you get one box per season, and it's a 3-month season. There's 32 packs in that box, so you can only technically get 32 participants to have one of those packs.
because it's everyone who attends gets a pack.
Yeah, everyone who
With
attends.
2
But that's the
packs.
thing. So you can only hold one tournament every 3 months, and you can only have 32 members in that tournament.
Or 16 if
Or 16.
you are doing the 2 packs per entry.
No, it's 16. It's 16 participants times 2. Every person can only be
Okay.
given one. They're not allowed to double. They're not allowed to double dip.
Oh really? Because when you do Pokemon,
Yeah, like
Tournaments.
any other card game, like basically they throw them at you because they're not, to them they're not worth anything. Which is why promos until recently were basically classed as like trash tier prize reward because they weren't really worth any money besides the occasional Charizard or one card that was really good, like the Jirachi that was like a £40 card at one point. But in Digimon, they've printed them so short that if there's 10 stores in the whole of the UK that can have this tournament, that's only 32 packs in the whole of 320 packs in the whole of UK, which means that every one of these packs is going to be like £100+ if you can't enter that tournament. And those cards and those promo packs are actually playable as well, like very playable.
get opening your store then and becoming one of those shops that can buy one.
I know, right? Terrible. It's like, so that's the thing. So you can, so they do one tournament party pack tamer thing per 3-month period, and then they rotate it out, which means that you need to get 3 of those packs to get a playset. So you now have to figure out how to get, what was it, basically like 2% of the population in the country just to have a playset of those cards.
So those cards, they don't have regular prints in the...
No, they are Pacific. They're promos that are, they're not, it's like alternate arts. They're just promos that have They're the same type of Digimon, but they have different like abilities and effects.
Well, then they're just printing them as a collection piece. They're not actually asking you to play them.
That's the thing. Like, so I love promos. I've got a promo binder already ready to go. I want them as just for collection purposes, but they are very good in decks. So if you were to play them as an actual mechanic or like an engine, good luck. Good luck indeed.
It's going to be the equivalent of when people play decks, but then they, instead of playing the cheap cards, they then buy the expensive version.
That's it. There's no other version of this card. It's literally that's the card you have to play. There's no like in deck.
Yeah, no,
sorry,
I didn't mean that. I meant like people will spend money on building their deck.
Oh yeah, like
So
as I say, bling your deck out. Yeah,
buy them.
but there's definitely going to be a market for someone who wants to buy these cards. But if your entrance fee is say £20, which I think is kind of okay, I guess. But that pack of cards is definitely going to be worth more than £20.
Oh yeah.
Just in that case, just wait until that game or that set has been retired, and then people will be giving them away.
That's the thing though. You only get 32 per store for 3 months. You don't get a restock of them.
No, I mean, once the set's been retired,
That's the
everyone
thing.
who's bought it for their deck.
As far as we're
they'll
aware,
be
there's no
getting rid of
rotations in
them.
this game. There's no rotations in Digimon.
Well, that's not old enough to have rotations in
Well, that's
the
what-
future.
But they've been asked the question because they had like a question time at Christmas time, and like the Japanese community, obviously, because they're scared about obviously their deck space becoming irrelevant. Are we getting a rotation? They went, no, there's no rotation in this game. There's no rotation in this game for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, because there physically aren't enough sets out.
We'll get there.
So-
Well, next year technically will be at the end of next year would be the last of this rotation technically.
There's like 16 sets in a rotation in Pokemon. I don't know the exact figures.
It's 2
And
years,
says-
so it's 6 sets.
Sure, at one point it was more than that.
Yeah, it used to be like 3 years, I think. So it was like 9 sets, and then like obviously you got like some of the side sets because they used to try and push. Pokemon was really weird in the early days because they obviously pushed so much together. Like during the Expedition era, there was like at one point there's like 11 sets in rotation because of, like how they like butchered the set pushing period between what's seen to Pokemon. But yeah, it's
Basically,
normally
what
6.
I was saying is, in the future, when there are more sets out, cards will be rotated out.
Yeah,
The owners of the cards that have bought them will then try and flog them for cheap.
that's how Magic normally works, and technically Pokemon too. It's
like Pokemon,
rotation is when you want
look
to
at-
buy things.
Look at Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele was a £100 card. You can now buy it for £3 or £5.
I think it's gone up a little bit in price now. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like
Probably.
same thing. We
But
pulled
I've-
one. It was like, oh great. The basic version was like £40, and we were like, oh great, it's a £40 card, fantastic. And then I think we looked at it beginning of last year. It's like a £5 card now. I mean, we pulled it. Doesn't really matter. And then obviously now because of the inflation, because of arsehole, it's up to like 40 again. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll keep that price point. It's good for me.
I've got like 4 of the basic card in Japanese.
Ooh. I'm not
Nice.
sure how the Japanese market's gone. I don't know if that inflated with the TCG one.
The Japanese market's very weird. It's playable, lots of money. Lolly, lots of money. Waifu, lots
Of money. Yeah, there's a waifu tax, and people think this is like a made-up thing. It's like, no, if it's a hot chick in brackets on the card, it's worth money because there's a hot chick on the card, no matter how awful that card is.
You know the promo set that had the Shining Legends?
Mhm.
Yes.
And it came... No. What's the one that had the gold, Solgaleo and
Oh, that was Hidden Fates.
Hidden Fates?
Yeah, what's it, Adventure?
I have the... Not Lunana. What's the fucking name?
Cynthia.
Cynthia, yeah.
Well, I've got Cynthia, but I also have a Japanese version of...
Is it Lady?
No.
No, is it the girl?
It's the girl who...
Lily.
Lily. I've got the Japanese version of the Lily card from Hidden Fates.
Wasn't she
You
like
look at
£100
that.
at one point?
Look at it again now. She's worth £1,200.
Jesus.
Let's have a quick... Got my phone here now, so I can actually do things like this now.
So look at Lily Full Art Japanese. She is so expensive.
Lily full art Japanese.
I found the B version.
Wow, it is expensive. It's over £1,000, quite a lot.
Oh, I found a PSA 10 one. Yeah, that's like £5,000. So I'll probably add that into the video. Jesus Christ, yeah, that's definitely got up in price.
So which one is it? It's the one where she's got the rainbow colours behind her.
Yeah, that's the one that's going for like £5,000.
Yeah, 1,700 quid. Here.
Wow.
1,400.
Good job, you got the right time.
And I pulled it. It cost me
stonks, people,
150 yen. Cost me 150 yen while I was out in Japan.
Some people have all the luck, right?
Not even a quid. No, it's
70p to 100 yen now. So what's that like? Yeah, like £1.10.
123 yen, but we went and it was 160 yen to the pound.
Wow. Yeah, all right. Yeah, it's not bad. So was that 94p? Could you imagine that? Yeah, I just brought like a case of Pokemon for like 120 quid. What? Yeah, cheap. Super cheap.
The Japanese boxes though, because you are guaranteed
secret rare, aren't you?
A secret rare.
Yeah.
Like, they're cheaper, yes, you get less cards and less packs.
But they're cheaper.
Half the price, and you are guaranteed pulls.
Yeah. It's like, I presume you've both been watching like the Japanese Shining Star set, which is going to be our Shining Fate set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like look, they're literally like throwing shinies in your face in that set. It's like, great, I hope it happens over here. It won't, but I hope it does.
God packs as well, they're back.
I haven't seen anyone open a God pack for this new set.
I've seen God packs on Twitter, but I haven't seen a video of someone opening them.
There's a video, I've seen a video of Neon Cactus opening a God pack.
Ah, okay. I'm always suspicious because you always go like, oh yeah, I saw it on Twitter. It's like, yeah, I can make a Twitter picture and go like, I've got all these shinies I just pulled out of my pack, but you never see it on video. So, Digimon. Digimon is, as you said earlier, short printed a little bit just because I think they weren't expecting people to be hyped for it, which is fair enough. Obviously, COVID also happened, but I think when they saw how the Japanese took it over it and they had to physically tell Japanese hobby shops, please stop selling to the US and Europe. We can't physically supply you anymore. They should have guessed that basically it was going to be popular.
Sound of silence.
I don't know. It's like that's my opinion, boys. What do you think?
I think first set of cards, regardless of if it's a popular franchise, the first couple of sets will always sell well.
Yeah, because people are hyped for it. People just want to see what it's like.
Yep.
That's your hook, your line, your sinker.
It's whether they can keep it going. It's whether it's playable. It's whether card shops pick it up.
That's the issue people are having. Like, physically can't go get the cards now because they don't have the supply of it, and the people who do have the supply are going like, oh, you want to play? Well, it's only $200 a booster box now. It's like, why am I going to pay 3 times the price? I just won't play, and then the game will die.
But not just that, it's we can't physically go to a shop to hold any tournaments.
No.
Well, I've been asking. I don't know if I've obviously invited you guys to all the Digimons I can. I've asked like webcam tournaments or anything that's just involved where like you can buy, like you can. So I'll put it in the video description or I'll put it up on the screen right now. They've done this thing where basically you can buy 12 packs of one set and then 4 packs of another set, and you can get a Tamer booster pack, which is essentially a promo kit. But the cards are actually again playable. I like the fact they keep making promos playable to the point that you realise you can't get hold of them. But this is the biggest problem. Everywhere has sold out of all the allocations of both the first set and the second set in most places. How the hell are you going to get those cards then? Because you physically can't get them. If that's how you like, gatekeep them.
I haven't got any of the pre-orders in. I was like, no one's going to buy Digimon. I'll jump on later when I've got
just a
money.
secret, guys. Eddie Griffin Gaming, they've still got quite a lot of stock left. But only on the booster boxes. So it's Griffin Gaming. I'll send you a link later. So Griffin Gaming, it'll be in the description. It's always in the description. They've got I've brought like 4 boxes, so I'm going to try and get a couple more. They've got like 27 left, I think, in allocation, and they've got like 30 left in set 1.5. So they've got the basic stuff. They just have no decks. Because as soon as I did that video about you need to buy Gaia Forces, someone literally went to his shop and bought all his red decks. I was like, yeah, I kind of thought this was going to happen. So Gaia Force, I think, is going to be a metal staple until we have a rotation. I don't think we are going to have a rotation because I feel like a lot of Japanese card games don't like rotations. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't have one. I don't think Vanguard has one. Pokemon is like the only one I know that has a rotation for it's a Japanese card game. But I think Vanguard power creeps super hard at like every set, just like kicks the last one down a notch. So I think that's how they deal with their rotations.
What, they just make things a little bit better?
They make things a lot better. Like, he goes, oh, this was like a 7. Well, this was like a 9.5. Oh, that's like 11.50. It's like, what's going? Tone your power creep down.
Once you start doing that, there's got to be a ceiling.
I think that's the thing. Like, I know that like WotC has their own like scaling of like what they call like, is it like the power chart? And like every single mechanic has like its own like level on the power chart. Like, Changelings are like a level 8 on the power chart because it's just such a powerful ability. But like Circling's like a 12. It's like, well, if it's a 12, you can't print it in a set then because it's just going to overpower everything else in that set. It's like, I don't know if you've actually checked like how many decks are going around currently, but pretty much the game is blue Omnimon, red Omnimon, because Omnimon just goes and goes, you can't play, I do too much damage, you can't play. And it's like, well, that's cool and everything, but like, what about every other colour?
The thing is, Omnimon obviously
is the poster boy for kicking ass.
Yeah.
Just so everyone can see, the poster boy for kicking ass. I don't know if you can actually see that because I like. There you go. Woohoo!
I don't need to build my Omnimon or a Megamon, whatever you want to call him.
I think everyone just agrees it's Omnimon because that's what they've called it. But a lot of people do go like, it's Omegamon. It's like, yeah, it's both. We know who you're talking about. Don't worry about it.
I have the figurized kit for it.
Is that the original printing or the second printing?
Original printing.
Yeah, that's
been sat in the box for about a year.
That's apparently out of the 2 printers. The first printing's really good. It looks really nice. The second printing looks like someone kicked it down the flight of stairs. Apparently, but like I can always find the second printing for sale. So it's like I kind of want to get one still because they look cool. Like they're still posable.
What does the second printing look like?
It looks like it looks like if someone else who wasn't the original company did like a Mickey Mouse version. Like it looks a bit janky. I don't know if like they had an issue with like the printing of the actual materials or if the edges just don't have the same material like value. But apparently they put a lot more love into the first run series than the second. The second was like a year later. Like they actually went back and like redid everything because like they sold out of it. And were like, well, we can make money off this because people want it. So shall we print another set? Yeah, sure. And then just butchered it.
But I need to find. What is it? Black War Greymon.
That site we've been looking at recently. Yeah, I can't find Garurumon. I know that Amazon had War Greymon for like 55.
Yeah, but I already have War Greymon. I need Black War Greymon.
Yeah, that's the black one. That's the Black War Greymon. No, I can't find the original. So I can't find the original War Greymon because everyone loves War Greymon. I mean, it's pretty badass. So, still.
They need to make like a Devimon one.
Yeah, I'd say that'd be pretty good. I'll see if they did like a Devimon versus Angimon like battle statue. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
Because it's literally the same Digimon.
Give me Angie-Woman every day.
Yeah, like someone was saying it's like, why is there not enough statues of Angie-Woman? Because like the one they made like blinded people. Have you ever seen the actual like official statue for Angie-Woman? That's like £700. It's just tits with legs. Like, she's so top heavy, I'm surprised the statue doesn't smash into the ground.
Oh wow, so it is.
Yeah. It's like, oh yes, Angie Titmon? It's like, yeah, like, I understand, like, so... It's very off topic.
Is it the one where he's running with Hikari?
Yeah, maybe.
That's really cheap. That's a really cheap one.
No, like I think the one is literally just her, like with like one leg raised slightly and then like just all tit, and it's like, how this statue has any center of gravity is surprising. Like, do you have to hold it down? It's like a big heavy weight in the base, so it doesn't just topple.
Who knows?
I don't know, but someone does. Someone's obviously brought it and been like, yep, can't see anymore. Hit me in the face. Put on the top shelf.
Japanese for their inclusion of waifus.
Yeah, I mean,
But
shit sells.
these are all monsters that look non-humanoid, non-sexy.
So,
There you go.
I was watching something the other week, and people are on about like how like you transition to being a furry. This is very weird. I can't get out of this one. And I always thought like people go like, oh, Pokemon like makes people think of, like get furry urges. And like, no, I don't see it. And then look at Digimon. It's like they're all like animatronically human animals. I kind of can guess Digimon would do that. Because like apparently there's like a big like thing about Renamon being like this weird like furry bait thing. It's like, what's wrong with you people?
There are definitely Pokemon that are furry based.
Yeah, like I think Lucario is like the biggest one I've heard because you can literally dress up as Lucario and it's just like
Surely
someone in a
Lop-
dog suit.
surely Lopunny. Yeah.
Yeah, Lopunny as well.
Or Lopunny, or whatever you want to call it.
That bunny was meant to be a playgirl.
Or Gardevoir.
I never really see her as like sexualized. I always see her like kind of like maybe like a damsel. I've obviously seen like things on like Facebook where people are going like the big booby version. It's like, but I'm a boy. It's like, oh yes, rule 34 and Yowie. Let's go.
I love crap. That's my favourite.
Just like you said, I love crack. I love crack.
No, crap.
So,
Crap's in anime.
yeah, just weird. I don't understand why, but Japan is Japan, and we love them for their weirdness at the best of times. So I'm gonna look at what this actual conversation is meant to be about because I've actually forgotten. So introductions apparently
I
been
think
done.
we got to introduction.
We done introduction. We said hello. We said we're talking about Digimon and then didn't talk about Digimon for ages. We yelled about promos. So yeah, main topic is just Digimon, TCG. What do we know about Digimon? So, as far as I'm aware, we're getting previews of Set 5 in Japan. It all looks to be really good. It's just a lot of support for Red and Blue and a little bit of Black. I'm looking forward to that set. I'm looking forward to 4. 4 looks like a really good set. It's bringing Green and Yellow power up to the same sort of level where Red and Blue is right now. Purple was just a forgotten ginger child.
I don't understand what the point is printing depth and hyping for a set that no one will ever play.
Which set?
Just like Pokemon and like with Digimon.
Oh, just in
that
general.
You're saying like all the typings are essentially useless apart from Red and Blue.
Yeah, so how it works essentially because we've obviously had like the two sets smushed together, they've been smushed together in such a weird, awkward way. Set 1.5 is so irrelevant, it doesn't do anything to like rephrase that. It makes Green a lot better. Green actually starts to be looking like an actual powerful deck because it gives you it gives you some very unique tools, and you get some very unique bosses out of that set. So Red and Blue is still very powerful, and then Green's just basically sort of is like the next level down. But like the other three colours are just decimated to the point of like, well, there's not much we can really do for this set. If you want to play these three colours, you just wait. And then set 4 comes along.
What's the point in having sets that are
because of how they pushed them together?
Useless.
So the issue basically they had was Omnimon was in set 1, I think, and so he was really powerful. But because of how they smushed 1, 2, and 3 together, and then like jigsawed them out, and then put them into two different sets, the power creep got re-smushed into set 1. If that makes any sense. So instead of set 1 being powerful on its own, and then set 2 adding like a bit more utility, and then set 3 adding a bit more utility, they've essentially just gone, well, for the English TCG, Omnimon in set 1, and then stuff in set 2. And that's literally what they've done, instead of making it like, Omnimon comes in here, but then this lower deck support makes everything else better, and then set 3, Green got really good, and then set 4, Yellow got really good, and then set 5, Black looks really good. But because it's the English TCG and they've basically like lost a format place, so instead of having like 1, 2, and 3, they've had to smush it together because they couldn't release it when they wanted to, and they were getting scared they were basically going to lose out on their pay periods. Because obviously you don't release a TCG in the new year, especially in January, because no one has any money. Which is why it's being released in the last week of January, where you got paid.
But my point is, when you're watching a game,
yeah,
it's just going to be, oh look, it's red versus red, red versus blue, blue versus blue, blue versus red.
Well, you forgot the main important one that everyone hates. Rookie Rush. Rookie Rush is the number 1 MVP that everyone hates because it sucks dick.
It's like, you go on the trading card game online. I'm sorry I keep bringing Pokemon in.
No,
That's where I've got most of my
just use our references. Like we're all like Pokemon.
You go on
players
there,
here.
and it's literally you're playing the same deck over and over. There, like people find a winning method.
There's always like
don't alter it.
For decks, I always find there's like 5 decks in Pokemon that are always like the 5 decks you always see. There's the meta deck. There's a deck that can beat that deck. There's the deck that can beat the second deck but can kind of work against the first deck. There's a random like rogue deck that doesn't make any sense but just works for whatever reason. And there's like that. And there's like the weird budget one. My favourite one said that rogue deck is that like Korean exclusive Aldino deck that beat at Worlds because it was the only place in the world that could play that deck because the only place that had it was Korea. So they came into America and went like, I've got a deck that's exclusive to Korea that you can't play outside of Korea. I'm going to win with it. Oh, well, I won with it. It's like, well, that's a bit cheating, isn't it? Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it was a structure deck from Korea. It was like it was a £10 deck, but because of it was like literally Korea exclusive, and it was so over like its HP values like so over leveled compared to every other deck at the tournament. It went like, well, you have to hit me like 4 times to kill me, but I can kill you in 2 hits, so you'll never outkill me. It's like that's not how we play competitive, people. It's kind of why I hate Worlds, because obviously there's like different metas for different like places. Because Japan's like 2 sets ahead of us, aren't they, normally?
At least.
And they can play their cards.
Sets, their 2 sets create our 1 set.
Yeah, but they're always like they're always at least a set ahead of us, aren't they? So it's like, well, we can play this card, but you guys can't because it's not legally in your format yet. Guess who's got a different deck to you guys that can beat your decks because we're like a power creeper level ahead of you? Oh well, it's a shame. It's like if you're having a physical tournament, everyone has to be on the same playing field. It's like, I'm going to shoot you in the leg, I'm going to stab you in the arm, you're going to play as good as I am. It's like, yeah, I'll try, I guess. I can't shuffle anymore, but I'll try.
Card games just need to make anything and everything playable, just so people make different sets.
Oh yeah,
because like, the lack of
diversity is the worst thing in the card game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, lack of diversity in anything is the worst thing in the world because it's optimizing and there's the only way to do something, and that takes the fun out of anything. I want to know that you can play a red deck and I can play a purple deck, and that there's a chance that at any time either of us could win.
Yeah, that would be interesting, but
I don't want the fact that the second you put Omnimon down the table means that there's like a 95% chance that I can't do anything for the rest of the game. I'm getting yelled at. But a beautiful wife. Okay. Send some kissy faces. But that's the kind of thing with anything competitive, I find. Like, if you can't make it so there's more than one way to win, it's not competitive anymore. You're just basically thinking who's got the better deck draw. That's not. That's just luck then.
And did you say there's no mulligan in the Digimon?
There's no mulligan because you if you go first in Digimon, you get free memory. So as long as you have a Digimon in your hand it costs less than 13 memory, you can play it. So everyone complains like, oh, I need a mulligan to win the game. If I can't get a mulligan, I can't win. It's like, what did you draw then? You've got to have drawn something in that hand. It's not literally just a handful of nothingness. Oh, I can't play this Digimon because it needs to have this. No, that's making it better, but you still need to play something. It's like in Pokemon, the only way to get a mulligan is you literally draw all trainers or all energy cards.
Yes.
Because you physically have to play a Pokemon.
First or second evolutions, you need a basic.
Yeah, so you always need. That's what I say. You always need to be able to play a Pokemon on the field because you have to obviously has to defend you as a person. But in Digimon, like you can have an open field. You have it's a life counter game, so you can literally go like first turn. Oh, I just pulled option cards. Well, I don't need to use these right now. I'll save them for later. So yeah, pass my turn. You go next because you haven't got. Oh, sorry. You can get. You can put
like
Digihammer out. It's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. So you have a life. So you have 5 securities, and then you have your only life point. It's probably because I've never heard anyone. People say like 6 security cards, but technically there's no 6 security card. It's whatever your life point counter collects. So, you can call it your Tamer's Life Force or whatever. You can call it like the Jizzo Field, whatever. So you essentially have to be hit 6 times. But if you have security attack plus 5, you still have to swing a second time, even though it's technically 6. So security attack plus essentially just means you can attack the stack of security cards more than once. So if I have War Greymon, you can go up to like plus 6. So he just swings in. As long as nothing kills him on the way down the stack, you just get rid of all the security. But you can't get that last life point. You have to swing in again.
Okay.
Which is why Rookie Rush is such like an awkward thing, because you can literally swamp the field with like 7 rookies and just go attack, 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 attack. And that's why Bandai's basically turned around and went like, that's not how Digimon's meant to be played. We don't want you to just basically throw like weenie deck at people. We want you to actually play an actual card game against somebody. It's the whole like how Yu-Gi-Oh has the issue with control decks. It's like we want you to actually interact with your opponent. We don't want you to sit there for 20 minutes talking to yourself. Which I think Yu-Gi-Oh had like I don't know if you guys even care about Yu-Gi-Oh, but Yu-Gi-Oh had this massive issue for like a year and a half where the combo decks would essentially be, how can I stop my opponent from doing anything so I don't have to play with them? And that was basically Yu-Gi-Oh for like a year and a half. I've never known a card game where it just says you can't play this game if I go first. Like, how oppressive would Pokemon be if they basically had a card that says, like, your opponent can't draw a card, or your opponent can't put a card down, or if you try to activate a card, my card says you can't do that.
Well, that means they're not playing the game, then, basically, doesn't it?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how can you say it's a good card game if your opponent can't play with you? It's like, I want to play this game by myself, I win by myself, and you're just here to look pretty. It's like, oh, okay. Do I just forfeit? Like, if I can't play the game, what's the point? Whereas that's what they basically say about Rookie Rush. Rookie Rush, you can put like 2 rookies down. No, you can put 3 rookies down on your first turn, and then the second turn, because your opponent can't really stop them, you swing in 3 times. That's free security. On the third turn, if they can't stop you again, you're obviously going to put more rookies down. You swing in again, you win the game on turn 2. And it's like, that's not how Digimon's meant to be played. They want like these big epic battles.
But then that's a hole in their card game that they need.
Yeah, that's what they found. So if you look at like set 4 and set 5, they basically turn around and went like, if you have a Digimon that's got less than 4,000 power, it dies instantly as soon as this card hits the field. If you have this card out and it has less than 6,000 damage, it dies instantly the second it hits the field. And they basically just turned around and said like, we don't want degeneracy in this card game because no one wants to play against somebody who actually just decides to buy a £2 deck and just play with that. You gotta buy these Omnimons, people. Come on. Degeneracy, that's all it is. That's all we have here in card games. But I, as you said, like, because of like overpower creep like red and blue for the first like 1 and 1.5, yeah, you're right, there's like no reason to even try and playing a different deck because you aren't going to win most of the time unless you're playing with somebody who isn't playing a red or blue deck.
Yeah.
And then you just go, well, I've got like 2 decks. I've got like a competitive monster piece over here, or I've got like my for fun deck. Well, do you have a for fun deck, or do you only have a competitive deck that's like a different colour that won't beat mine?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why a lot of people are complaining, because obviously Omnimon is a super / secret rare card, so it's harder to pull. So if you were just lucky enough to get them in your boxes, or you paid somebody earlier before like the card price decided to spike, because then people started to realise, actually, we don't have a lot of supply of this card game. You know, there might be like maybe 10,000 booster boxes in the whole world for English, which is very small for any TCG.
Are they reprinting 1 and 1.5?
Technically, but technically not. So, from what I've heard, they're not actually reprinting in the sense of like we'll get like a restock of the booster boxes. What we're getting is something called Premium Pack 1, and that's going to have 2 of each in. So you have 2 1.1, 2 1.5s, and you'll have a promo card in there. And that's £15 for that. Personally speaking, that's a little bit expensive, but it's about on keeping with the price of actually how much the pack costs. The packs are like £4 each, so technically you're saving £1, and you're getting a promo. But we're not getting an official reprint, like say Evolution's got like a dozen times. Oh, family so.
Not even like.
We're not getting like a wave 2.
Like a Legends.
Nope.
Pokemon Legends. Because
they're so, like... I'm going to say code has basically put them in such a weird position where they need to keep printing next set after next set, because that's how... so Bandai prints to demand, normally. That's if you've ever dealt with, like, Bandai for anything. Everything is printed to demand. So if only, like, 10,000 booster boxes are asked for, they'll only print 10,000 booster boxes. They won't go, like, maybe we should just print an extra couple just in case. It's like, we've asked for 10,000, we've printed 10,000.
Yeah, but if you look at the internet, there's clearly more than...
Oh yeah, I'm just using that as a number. I'm not saying that's the exact number. Like, it's probably like 100,000, but...
But the demand is there, so
Oh
surely
yeah,
they
but
should.
they didn't know this. Obviously, they printed like what they thought people wanted. They've been what I could class as like Japanese businessmen. They've been sensible. They've put out a very small supply, and then they've kind of like turned around and went like, well, we can't reprint anything because we don't have the space for it because now we're printing set 3. What do we do?
Most of them, because there's going to be cards that people want that they can't get. So
All I can say is
people are like,
that has
"Well,
made the
spend-"
secondary market very strong. That's basically all they've done is just made the secondary market to be like ridiculously powerful.
Yeah, but once people stop buying because they're like, oh, I can't get this, and I ain't spending £200 on a card.
Yeah,
The secondary market.
that's literally what people already said. They said like, I'm not going to play like 1.0 or 1.5 because I can't physically get hold of a booster box for a reasonable price. I'm not paying £200 for a booster box. I'm not paying £150 for Omnimon. So if I want to play the game, I want to play the game. I don't want to have to sit there twiddling my thumbs for like 6 months. I'm going to go play something else. I'll go back to Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll go back to Magic. I'll go back to Pokemon. I'd rather put my money in something that I can get hold of. And then you look again, you're like, can't get hold of anything Pokemon at the moment. You can't really get anything hold of Magic because they're having printing issues. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is short printing everything because that's kind of what Yu-Gi-Oh's been doing last like year because they're kind of worried like they're very much on the edge of like bumping. I have a funny feeling the children are yelling at me, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, so that's basically. I think a lot of card game companies right now are very scared of like overprinting one thing and that's it. That's going to be the end of the company. I mean, WotC needs to be careful about a lot of things because they just basically like socially they're just a very weird company.
You just need to get some stupid frat boy influencer.
Hey Logan Paul, do you want to come into Digimon?
And you're done. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
You're rich.
Yep.
The biggest issue you're going to have is if someone like Logan Paul, or as you said, an influencer of some like actual stock, comes in and goes, Digimon's really cool. I'm buying like literally a shop out. I'm going to then sell everything for this much money. And then all his friends will be like, well, if I can make that much money, I'll do it too. And then again, you'll just ruin the game. Luckily, Pokemon's a bit different.
What I find about influencers, they're never leaders. That they always follow the trend.
Yeah, they have no initiative. There's like, I think, I was watching something the other day and they were like trying to say like, the biggest issue with influencers, they always want clout, but they don't want to be the first person to get that clout. They want to be with the clout.
Yeah.
It's like, I have no problem turning around and go like, I like Digimon, I want to play the card game. But the second I could, I put stuff on my channel saying, Digimon is cool, let's play Digimon. But then you'll find out like next month or something, Logan Paul's going to go, well, I turned it with my buddy at such and such, and we brought like the whole shop out of all these Digimon things. And then Pokemon's just going to like drop, like tank in price, and that's going to happen. Same with Critical, like he went crazy for Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and that bumped the price of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff for a little bit.
My friend went to a pre-release for Pokemon.
This is back in the day.
Back in the day.
Me
and him have been, like, we went to Switzerland together and we were playing Pokemon on the Game Boy Advance.
Okay, this is back in the day then.
And we were playing Final Fantasy. We both bought Final Fantasy Tactics, the Game Boy Advance, out in Switzerland together.
Nice.
But we were like talking about how much we love Pokemon and stuff. He goes to a pre-release back before, like, I think it was early Sun and Moon.
Okay. So it's that far back in the day?
No. And he walks into the shop, some guy, same age as him, maybe younger, looks him up and down and goes, oh look, it's the Pokemon Go generation.
Yeah, I found it really weird. Like people are like, oh, you're just into Pokemon Go. It's like, dude, I literally played every single game. I've been interested in the whole like franchise for like literally my whole life. It's been around. I did have a break with the Pokemon cards from like Expeditions until at the end of Black and White. Like I think Plasma was like the first that I got back into because I got fed up with the cards for whatever reason. I think it was just too expensive for like someone who didn't have a job at like 15. And I just didn't get back into it.
When did I stop?
Yeah, I think like 15 was when I stopped being a Pokemon card fan. And then I got back into it and I was like 20, 21.
Pokemon card fan, I stopped when they did the trainers set.
Which one's that? I can't remember what that is.
It's the one that's got like Giovanni's Mewtwo and...
Oh, that's Jim.
Is that Jim? I love Jim. Jim was
Gym
like my favourite set.
Yeah, Gym Challenge. That was the last set I ever looked at, really.
I went up until like Skyridge. I think it was like the last that I physically brought because I was like, I think I got it with like my Ruby game. I was like, yeah, I've got some money left over. I'll grab a pack, and then I didn't buy anything then until like Black and White because I just like I'm not wasting money on Pokemon.
They're the ones that had the scanner on for the Game Boy.
Yeah, Expedition Series was like the scanner ones. It was like Skyridge, Aquapolis.
I don't know why they're so expensive. They're such
because they were like
cards.
They were really short printed because it was literally when WotC got handed over back to Pokemon Company because they were doing some dodgy stuff and they went like, nope.
They're not even nice cards though. Everyone goes ham about them on social media or whatever. I
do say I feel like Neos are actually like the nicer looking cards from like that generation of cards. I think that's when they started.
People need to get over the Charizard card. Like,
yeah, because it's shiny Charizards in there. So Crystal, that's it. I understand, like, he is a rare card, though. Like, he's a lot rarer than any of the other Charizards in that time period because they literally had one printing in that set. And the sets were, like, so messed up at the time. They had, like, the 3 sets were released within, like, 9 weeks of each other. And then they released, like, the next set afterwards that Pokemon came out with 3 weeks after the last set. It was so, like, up in the air, just messed up. It was like the worst time for Pokemon.
I mean, like Charizard, the card has never been a playable card.
No, never. Well, until recently.
Up until he got his Mega, he's never been a viable Pokemon in the game.
He was just fan service. He always has been.
Yeah, I don't understand whether he's a dragon type or he's not dragon type, but he looks like a dragon.
He does.
Why he's then so popular?
Because he looks like a dragon. Come on. You can't say he doesn't look like a dragon.
I'm of the same opinion as Nick though. I think the Charizard hype is not just. I think there's a lot cooler Pokemon.
Just to be fair, I am like my favourite Pokemon is Charizard. I think he's always looked cool. I think he's always been badass. But yeah, I don't get the hype like how people like Charizard means like an extra at least like 50% more than any other card in that set. It's like why? Yeah, they're cool, but they're not that cool.
Lugia is a fucking awesome looking Pokemon. It's 10 times better looking than Charizard.
I hate Lugia only because of its typing, because it doesn't make sense. It should be water flying or like water psychic.
Oh yeah, of course, it's King of the Ocean.
That's the only thing that like annoys me about that card. It's like why? Yeah, all my attacks are water based. I just don't have a stab for it. It's like that makes no sense to me. Why? I have Hydro Pump. I have like Water Pulse. I have Surf. I have like Waterfall. I have like Dive, but no stab for any of those moves. So okay. But my Aeroblast, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, typing in Pokemon makes me laugh. Oh, and the fact that they had the perfect opportunity to do the first ever metal-type dragon, and they did a skyscraper.
Yeah, like I thought that. I was like, why is it looking a bit lighter? And then turned him into a skyscraper. It's like, what? Why? He could have been like this badass, like metal Godzilla thing.
It's like dragon in every other industry looks like a fucking dragen.
It looks like Pokemon, it's the most badass looking thing in the game,
apple.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this cute little apple dragon.
I mean, technically he's based off lore and stuff, so it makes some sense in that aspect. Like it's British Knights lore, so yeah. But I don't understand why like Drag, whatever his name is, he's like literally like you say he's a skyscraper. He's a shard, isn't he?
Duraludon.
He's literally the shard, and his like basic form is a big lighter. So yeah, it's
I used my Master Ball on him because I got a shiny.
Isn't the shiny version just like slightly more silver?
Yeah, and it changes the red like beacon on top.
Yeah, instead of it being blue, it's red. Yeah. It's like so shiny. It's like a Gen 1 shiny Pokemon. It's just slightly less different colour, just a twinge. Hello.
I did trade for a G-Max Charizard though.
Shiny one or just a regular?
Shiny.
Ooh. I tried to invite you to a shiny Mega Blastoise, but you wouldn't come to my group. I was like, fine, if you don't want to come here, I'll just get myself then.
What?
It wasn't very good though. It was really bad. Like it was like probably the worst one you could get. But it was just shiny. So
I traded for it because my friend missed the Magikarp event.
I missed it intentionally because I have like a dozen of those shiny Magikarps already.
When I went ham for it and got loads, I was just like, here, have a shiny Magikarp.
Did you get a Gyarados? Because I know you could get a Gyarados occasionally from some of those raids.
He was like, here, have a shiny G-Max Charizard.
Way!
Someone who... So all the Magikarps in the raids came with square shinies.
Yeah.
And the rare shiny was the star. My friend got a star shiny.
Oh, that's
Sparkle
cool.
shiny. Because there's technically like 3 shinies, isn't there? There's a square shiny, there's a star shiny, and there's like the sunlight shiny, which has like that like circle effect on it. But that's like from older generation games. That's from older generation games,
isn't it?
Yeah. But apparently, like, it does carry over. If you have like a Gen 2 shiny, it will actually have the same animation if you take it through the games. So it's obviously coded in somewhere.
Because I have transferred some of my old shinies from old games.
Mm.
Some have squares, some have stars. There's no...
It might be the fact of like Gen 4 then, Gen 8 then. They might have just went like, nope, squares and stars it is then.
Because I've got my green Hiram.
Oh.
I think has squares, but something else that I have is stars. Just like, why?
We'll never know. We'll never know. Digimon.
Yeah,
So,
Digimon.
what is your
Did you
experience with Digimon?
My experience started with Digimon Adventures.
Woo! The best series, right?
Yeah.
No, Tamers are the best series. Get out.
Even had the PlayStation game, which was an amazing game.
Which one? Because there's quite a few PlayStation games. Because I had Digimon World the original, which was god-awful by today's standard, but I lost probably like hundreds of hours in that game.
Yeah, I had the original Digimon World, yeah.
Yeah, so I think most people played the original Digimon World if they were around at that time. Did you ever play the fighting game?
I didn't, because I'm not into fighting games.
That was... It was basically like a Smash Bros game. It was really fun. Like, super, super fun.
I've never played Smash Bros.
Fair enough.
I lied. I've played maybe 10 minutes of a Smash Bros. And I'm like...
Well worth the £60. Well worth the £60.
Yeah, it's been sat on my Wii U for time.
Yeah, Smash Ultimate was a good... Smash Ultimate was probably one of the better ones. Better than the one before it.
I reckon I sunk about 400 hours into Smash Melee.
Wasn't Wii U like a waste of money anyway?
It's because they didn't market it. Like, they had like no intention of... Like, they marketed it in such a weird way that people who weren't in the... Like, a nerdy gamer like us probably were like, I don't understand what this is. Is it like Wii U...
For the original Wii?
Yeah, it's like, is it just like an add-on? It's like, no, it's an actual console. It's like, but it's called the Wii U, so it's just like you add the screen to it? No, it's like an actual console. And people are like, yeah, I don't understand it. It's like, but you don't understand.
Because they didn't use the numbering.
Yeah, they went Wii 2.
Served.
Or they just call it something different, like the Switch, like which, you know, wholly different names people understand.
What is with the Xbox naming?
There isn't one.
No one knows.
No, there isn't one. They've even turned around and like they've had interviews like, what's with the naming culture? And they go like, there's not a naming culture. It's just what people want to call it. It's like obviously Xbox One into 360, which is just like is meant to be a full circle. Yeah, that's literally what a 360 is. Good job there, America. Then it was Xbox One.
One.
It's like, why is that? It's meant to be like a full experience in a console. I was like, okay. So still one circle.
Xbox One X, One S.
Yeah, because it's like the next stage of the full... It's like, if it's already a full package, what do you mean you give me the next stage of a package? Is that DLC now? Do I have Xbox DLC? And then what's the current one? Series S?
Which
Makes
annoys people because people are like, but there's only one console in the Series X, one console in the Series S.
Yeah.
So it's not a series, it's a standalone item. So why is it called a series?
And then, no matter what you order, you always get the wrong thing from Amazon, because Amazon, like, bots are like, I have no idea what you asked for. You just get what it's given to you.
When the pre-orders went up, the Xbox One X sales went up by 720%.
I think the final total was like 800 something by like the end of like the financial like section. It was like, yeah, it went really high. It's like, yeah, because you ordered the wrong thing. Like the rebates in those orders like literally like 800% because it was like, no, I did one. or
The one that
or
you
they
can't
ordered the
get
right
hold
one.
of.
I think was it Amazon. Even if you ordered the correct one, it gave you the wrong one.
But if you ordered the correct one, you were getting a bag of rice.
Yeah, I saw those like you got a pressure cooker, which is quite expensive. Not about £450 worth, but it's more than a bag of rice. Apparently, it was quite prevalent in the Peterborough area. So good thing we didn't order ours through Amazon, right?
No, I got mine through Berry.
Yeah, I got my beautiful PlayStation 5 through August. Cannot complain. Guy turned up at from DPD. Guy turned up at 7 in the morning. And goes, "Is this what I think it is?" It's like, what do you think it is? Is that PlayStation 5? Close the door in his face. I ain't tell you it's PlayStation 5. You're gonna rob me. Nah, he's like, it's PlayStation 5, right? I was like, yeah,
I got Final Fantasy VII Remake, the collector's edition that came with the Play Arts Kai and everything.
Beautiful.
That arrived something like 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah, I remember. I was like, you bastard.
So I completed it by the time that everyone had started playing it.
Yeah, a lot of people got a lot of people who got the collector's edition got theirs a week or two earlier. And everyone's like, well, can we just? People who bought the online versions, like, well, people have already got hold of it. Can we just play it? No, you gotta wait till street release. It's like, people are already playing it. There's literally full playthroughs on Twitch because you haven't put an NDA on it. Digimon.
Because that was right at the start of COVID. Lockdown.
Yeah, it was literally. Well, they went into lockdown before we did, didn't they? Because that's why it got pushed back from February to March. It's like, yeah, we've been hit by COVID really bad in Japan, which, yeah, Asia was obviously hit before everyone else was.
Well, Japan was really good for ages. They didn't get really bad until recently.
Do you know why? I know why. Do you know why? So the reason why is because the American military went back in there and basically gave everyone COVID.
I'm shocked. I thought it'd be some kind of stupid influencer influx.
I mean, technically America is an influencer by nation, so yeah, that's exactly what happened. They went back over there to do their military training with the Japanese Navy, which is what they do, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, none of them were tested before they went over there, got there, gave COVID to literally the whole base, and then they obviously went back to their families and they gave it to them. It's like, oh look, we had literally 3 cases in the last 2 months. Now we have 900. Thanks, America. Anyway, you're really good at not doing anything right. Oh.
Has anyone seen or heard anything about the release date for the new Digimon game?
Yes and no. So Survive, I believe, is the next one.
Yes.
Yeah. So it keeps just getting put on hiatus because they have no idea when they can release it because obviously the COVID situation still. So
talk to that because the anime intro looked amazing.
Oh yeah.
The guy sat in a classroom and then it
looks really good. I don't know if any of you have watched the anime now. I know you said you were going to catch up on it, but the anime, 20th anniversary anime, looks fantastic.
I started watching this morning. I woke up. I was like, oh, I've not done any research.
I better watch one episode at least, right?
Not quite.
Got a full episode yet.
It was 6:30 in the morning because Laura was going to work, so I was
How
falling
dare she?
asleep.
Well, I feel like you went to bed quite early last night. Cause I sent you a message 11:30. I think you're already in bed. I sent one to Graham thinking, you must be in bed too. And you sent me a message 1 o'clock. I'm like, nah, I'm up. I'm awake.
I'm normally up till 3 a.m. most days anyway.
I think I was up this morning till 3 a.m. because I was trying to finish stupid the video off. I was I edited all the artwork, all the art for it because the artwork takes half an hour to do normally for the 6 images, which is stupid just because I'm slow at editing. I was the voice takes me 5 minutes to record, then 10 minutes to edit that, so I'll be done in 45 minutes. And then it just so happened Catherine went to the hospital yesterday because obviously expecting a baby. If people can't see in the background. So she was at the hospital, so I was looking after Vincent. By the time she got home last night, it was nearly 6 o'clock. So I had to wait for Vincent to go to bed, and then she waited just to sit down on the sofa and watch some TV together. Then we did some tidying up. And the next thing you know, it was midnight. I was like, yeah, I just edit this video that I started 7 hours ago.
So do you know whether you're going to be able to be in the room yet?
In what sense?
They keep changing the rules.
So we're having a home birth.
I didn't think you were allowed to do them at the minute.
No, you can do home births. They don't advise it, but at the same time, me and Catherine can't get back from the hospital. So it's well...
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so like we can't physically get the baby home, so it's like we can't stay in hospital for 2 weeks because it's not allowed. So it's like we're just gonna have a home birth. It's safer.
Why have neither of you? You're both 30. Why have neither
So-
of you got driving license?
Basic story for me. I've learned to drive. I've got like 100 plus hours of driving under my belt. Like I'm actually a decent driver. But I nearly killed someone because they were basically taking the piss, and so I basically turned around and said, like, I'm not going to kill someone for the sake of learning to drive the car. So short story is, I was just doing my normal driving lesson before I went for my test, and someone literally threw themselves in front of the car. It scared the fuck out of me so much. I was like, I'm not gonna drive. I don't want to kill someone because they're going to be an idiot. So as you always get told when you do your driving stuff, the only person you can trust on the road is yourself. Like everyone else is an idiot.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
that's like every instructor's ever like said to me. I've known like a few, and that's the thing. Like I can't obviously counter like someone literally throwing themselves in front of my car, and just the thought of it's like, nah, I don't want to risk that. Catherine's going to start driving once the baby's here, so she's going to start probably in the summer. Because don't learn to drive during winter; it's the worst experience you'll ever have.
So I passed my driving test at Christmas, just FYI.
Yeah, you start driving at Christmas, though, didn't you?
2 days before Christmas.
Yeah,
but
I
would-
passed on the 23rd as well.
So I started
failed.
driving, I think,
I-
at the end of spring. So I basically started driving like as it was getting lighter and lighter and lighter, and then drove into autumn. So by the time I was getting to autumn, I actually had like 80 plus hours of driving experience. So it wasn't so bad then. But if you're starting out in the dark, it's such a different experience than driving in the light.
I failed my first test because I got stuck in Christmas traffic in the middle of Queensgate.
Could be worse.
About-
My sister did 3 tests. The first test she crashed into an island. The second test she mounted a curb, and the third test she backed up into a car.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh,
so she's
destined to drive.
no, she's
My
not just
second test, I passed on the 6th of January, so it was literally, what was that, a week and a half, 2 weeks later?
not bad. When was this? Like about 10 years ago?
Like 14 years ago.
Oh, sorry, back when you could drive at like 18, yeah, or 17.
Yeah, well I didn't start till I was 18.
There you go. So I took my lessons when I was like 20, because I'm from a big city, so like public transport where I'm from is like super. It's better than cars because like there's nowhere to park. So learning to drive was more of like a novelty than it was anything else.
So I started learning to drive on my 18th birthday.
I think I started when I was 19. I think I did, yeah, because with my
And-
ex-fiancée then, so it's like 19 to 20 was like when I started driving.
So my birthday's in November. I'd passed my test by the 6th of January.
It's pretty good. Because are you from where we all currently live, or are you originally from somewhere else? I feel like you're from here.
No, I'm from all over the place.
Okay, that's not so I can pinpoint, but okay.
So I learned in Peterborough, but I lived in... No, I didn't. I learned in Stamford when I lived in Stamford.
Okay. So you are from around
Before
here
that,
then?
I lived in Oakham. Before that, I lived in Edith Weston.
Okay, so
Before
yeah.
that, I lived in Gibraltar.
So before all that, you are essentially like an East Midland boy.
Yeah, Rutland, Lincolnshire.
What about you, Grimmy?
I've always lived here.
There
I was
you go.
born in Ely. There's not a hospital anymore, so I was born because I broke it.
Nice.
Well,
That's how you do
I
it.
was born in is now a hotel.
Damn. There you go.
Quite a luxurious one by the sounds of it, because it's
Oh.
right in the middle of Gibraltar Rock.
Very nice. So where I was
Sure.
born doesn't have a maternity ward anymore, so it's just like a day patient thing. So still there though. So I'm originally from Solihull,
goodness
for those who don't know, which is just outside of Birmingham. It is the second most extravagant place to live in the country outside of London. Like house prices there are ridiculous. If you think where we live currently is bad, like add like another couple of zeros in the end of some of those houses.
Where we live is really good priced.
I'd say it's like slightly above market price. Just not too badly, but slightly above.
We moved to Bourne because the house that we bought...
I've always wondered if you bought the
Price.
house. What,
Yeah.
Well, how long you lived there for? What did you pay for it? Yeah, nothing to do with car games anymore, guys. Now we're talking about economy of like real estate now.
So we bought it 8 years ago.
Okay. So after
And
the
it was-
last housing crisis, basically.
I don't really remember. But
So
we were looking
2012,
in
2013?
Stamford. In Stamford, for the price that we had, you could get a terrace 2 up, 2 down, no parking.
Ooh. Very
Whereas
innocent.
we've got a 3-bed, front garden, back garden, driveway, garage.
Couch. Yeah, there you go. Well, how much did you spend on that then, back in the day?
Money.
I hope so. I hope someone just took pogs off you. And yeah, 4,000 pogs will do. 10,000 Beanie Babies. I've heard they're worth some money.
All the info is available on Zoopla anyway, so we spent 197.
Oh, that's not too bad. But I mean, what like you said, yours is a free bed. I think free beds in
bed.
Bourne now are like nearly like 300,000. So I think you got like
This
a good
house
price.
is now worth 260 plus.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'd say it's like slightly above market price. I'd say like 210 to 220 is probably like price for a free bed. But we do live in a relatively nice area in all fairness. Like very low, very very low crime rate for anywhere in the world. I think the only place that's actually lower crime rate is probably China. Japan.
The only reason it's a little bit cheaper than Stamford here is because we're not on the A1.
Yeah, we're on the A15.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're on the A15.
Yep.
Yeah. If you guys ever want to figure out like where we lived, like we're giving you all the information right now. Good thing like only like 10 people listen to this podcast, otherwise we'd probably be in trouble. Yeah. So I've said before in the past, like we live in Bourne, like you know, there's 2 Bournes in the country. You got 50% chance of finding us. That's all I can tell you.
One ends in mouth.
Yeah. So
No, there's a Bourne in Cambridgeshire that's not gone E on the end.
is it free then?
Okay.
No, it's free. Yeah, all right, then you got 33% chance, guys. That's still pretty good odds. You can probably find us.
33.333333333%.
So roll a dice, roll 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, 6, and you can hopefully find us. I always find it really strange when like you see like actual like big YouTubers and stuff, and they go like, "Oh yeah, I live in Tokyo." It's like, yeah, the chance of you finding someone in Tokyo is probably quite slim, to be fair.
Tokyo's what, the largest city?
Yeah, in Japan, but it's not bigger than London. I think it's like the same size as Birmingham.
Look again.
Really? I wouldn't say it's bigger. You gotta remember how big London is. London's massive. London is like.
Look again.
All right, I will look because I'm sure England is bigger than Japan. Like by square kilometre. By square kilometre.
No, not even.
Really? All right, I'll definitely look that up.
Yeah.
England's
So I thought
quite
London-
small.
Yeah, we are quite small compared to like most countries because apparently we thought the biggest empire in the world had to be on a tiny little island.
They also make it bigger when they do maps, so it's easier to find.
Yeah, if you look at it from the space station, well, it's big. On the map,
that's
it's
only
big.
just also the map that we use. It makes everything in the northern hemisphere look bigger than it actually is.
Yeah.
Australia's just like massive in comparison, right?
It's one of the biggest countries in the world.
Australia, yeah, better be.
So London is 1,572 kilometres squared.
Which is pretty big, I feel like.
Tokyo is 2,194 kilometres squared.
Damn. So there you go. As I said, like, yeah, you're gonna find someone in Tokyo that just randomly. Unless you do just bump into them. You go like, hey, I know you. You're that guy from the YouTube thing. But you're not an influencer. I like that.
Tokyo is fucking huge.
I presume Graham's never been to Tokyo, and I'd love to go to Japan at some point. Since
No,
you're
I'm
our
not.
resident, since you're now our resident Asian podcast
Why?
member.
Because I've been twice.
Because well, I know you've been once, but now you've been twice. Everyone, so yeah, go on. Tell us how amazing Japan is. I always hear it's actually quite amazing in Japan.
It's amazing. So the food is amazing. Everyone's like, oh, it's an island. All you eat is fish. No, we eat a lot of pork, a lot of beef,
Yeah, there's
a lot
like
of noodles.
livestock and farm culture in Japan is really a big thing, and I think a lot of people just think like everything is ramen and sushi. It's like, yeah, it's a cultural thing, but it's not the only thing they do there. Like Wagyu beef is like the best beef in the world. It's like, you know,
Okonomiyaki is amazing. It's a kind of omelette pancake savoury.
oh, is that the one that's sliced down the middle and just
Cabbage.
like pops?
No.
No.
It's-
Because what I'm thinking of is like an omelette that it's like all runny inside still, and then they put it on top of rice or
That omu rice.
yeah, that's nice. That's fantastic. That's beautiful.
I've not had omu rice.
So nice. I tried to do it at home. It's probably a terrible idea. Think of the salmonella. Yeah, like
Yes, raw
the
red.
chance of you catching salmonella in Japan is like the same as us like catching like Ebola in England. Like the chance of you catching it is ridiculously low.
Yeah, so we've been where? Tokyo, Nara, Hiroshima, Kyoto.
I heard there's some very nice cakes that you can only get in Hiroshima. Or they're biscuits, and they're literally they only sell them there.
No.
There you go. Well, if you go a third time, you need to go around and just like do a YouTube channel about the Japanese cultural cuisine from different prefectures.
So I think we've been to nearly every Pokemon Center in Japan about 3 times.
Like, how many Pokemon centers do they have in Japan? I feel like not a lot, but more than us.
No, there's one that we haven't been to because it's been open since.
It says like the
we
one
were
opened like
there.
last year.
Yeah.
Isn't there one in an airport in Singapore as well? Is it Singapore? There's a Pokemon Center in the airport.
Well, that's not Japan.
I know. We're talking about Pokemon centers in
All
general.
the Asian
I'm sure
countries.
there's one that-
It's not Japan.
But you might lay over on your way there.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like you'd lay over in Dubai, to be honest, though.
Yeah, to be fair.
Or Korea.
Layovers have been in Finland.
I feel that's a bit early for a layover, really, but fair enough.
No, it's the major Asian hub in Europe.
Oh, is it because like you sort of like go to the top end of like Russia, China into like Japan, or?
Yeah, I don't really know. I just sat on a plane for 12 hours playing Pokemon.
What else are you gonna do, right?
Anime.
Land of the anime, land of the waifus. Yeah. Me and Catherine said Catherine has no interest in like travelling at all whatsoever. But I've said I'd love to go to Japan, even if it's just for 2 weeks, and just immerse myself in the culture for 2 weeks. Not be a fat
Amazing.
weeby like goddamn otaku. Like actually just go for the cultural aspect, and go to also go to the Pokemon centers.
We've been... we went mainly for the Hanami season. So it's cherry blossom everywhere.
Good old spring, right?
Yeah, the first time we went, it was like we were having picnics under cherry blossom trees.
Yeah, if you've got asthma or hay fever, don't go during that time.
We were drinking Asahi, which is Japanese beer, in pink cans.
Ooh, we can get Asahi over here, but not in pink cans.
No, the pink cans are only during the spring.
Do they have like
That's
cherry
the
blossom
time we
infused
went.
into it, or is it just literally as a like promotional like seasonal thing?
Just a promotional seasonal coloured can.
It's still cool.
Then
Better than what Carl do over here.
Then the second time we went in autumn, so we could see all the trees go red.
Yeah, because isn't like it's really weird. Obviously here for like spring, it's a lot of like your new babies, but I feel like in Japan, like a lot of their like rebirth is in autumn, because they have their like celebrating the dead season during summer, don't they?
Do they?
Yeah, like their big like Golden Week is like Christmas for them. That's like their big
Golden
happy
Week,
time.
yeah.
But then they have like a week in summer where it's like you basically pay respects to all your ancestors.
And
I would
open.
I
during
would
that week.
never remember the name of that like the festival itself, because it's literally just like you go to the graves for like a whole week and you clean every grave and just make sure like they understand that they're still loved and respected, and the whole like
They do that weekly anyway. Like,
yeah, as a rule, but it's like more of a celebrated festival
they have
thing.
shrines in the houses.
Yeah. It's like, was it Ikudeku Mass? Which is like, thank you for the food, but it's not really thank you for the food, it's actually like, thank you to the food for being my food.
Well, it
Like,
starts with a T, so it's Tagimas.
Tekimasu des, or something like that. Yeah, thank you for the food, well, thank you for being my food. It's probably a better way to describe it. There's like there's a full sentence, I can never remember it, but everyone just remembers the thank you for the food part. But it's like the whole sentence, it's like, thank you for the spirit of this food, for giving me life, and thank you for, like, passing it on to me tonight.
Well, Takimasu means I will humbly accept it.
Give it to me, put it in my mouth. This
But
A5 beef, just give it to me.
It's meant to honour those involved with making the meal happen.
Including the food.
I'm just going AFK for a sec. I need to go for a wee.
How dare you go pee-pee during our like 17-hour like podcast session?
I drank a whole bottle of Pepsi before we started, so it's...
That's probably a bad idea.
That'll be alright.
Right. So Nicholas, how is your things with? I never actually know if you are Nicholas or just a Nick in all fairness. Or Nikolai.
Not that. Never that. I'm
Never
not
Nikolai.
Russian.
Latvian.
All that, yeah.
Yeah. I think all the Nicholases I know are all Latvians. There's a few around here. So like, what? Since this is the Digimon episode, we've been like 2 hours in already, and we haven't really spoken about much Digimon besides like it needs a format change already, and prices of cards and the stock prices, everything is terrible. What is your experience with Digimon as a whole then?
So I've watched the first 2 seasons of the original anime.
So
the
I
one
wish they
with
didn't call it
Kai-
this, but they call it literally Digimon Adventures 1 and then Digimon Adventures 2. I understand why, because obviously there's continuous cast members from both in it, but I do wish they'd call the second season something a bit different.
So yeah, I watched the season with Kai and then the season with Kari.
Yeah,
Hikari.
Yeah. Well, us it's Kari, but yeah, her name is actually Hikari.
I've watched those 2 seasons. Played the PlayStation game.
Yeah, there was 3 PlayStation World. There was 3 Digimon World games on the PlayStation, at least from what I'm aware. Because I played the third one, didn't play the second one, and I played the fighting game. They're all good games.
I've watched the 6 Digimon Tribe movies.
I still need to watch them. Apparently, they're very good, and I might cry if I watch them.
I've got them on Blu-ray.
I've been thinking about just getting them on Blu-ray. I think I can get them on Prime.
Well, for some reason, you can only rent them.
Yeah, but it's like unlimited renting though, so it's like you pay for the preview to watch it, but like it's not rented.
No, on Apple, if you were to rent it, you watch it for 48 hours and then...
Okay, no, on Prime, it's like you own it like on their service, so as long as you have Prime, you can always watch it kind of thing.
Okay, but I've got the Blu-ray, so I ain't going to be buying them on...
Yeah, I was looking it up and I was like, Digimon. I was like, looked it up before we started the podcast, I was like, they're only £50 for like all 6 of them. I was like, that might be a good deal actually.
Yeah, well, if you ever wanted to watch them when this lockdown's over, I could lend you the bloobs.
So I've already said like I'm happy to lend out like the extra decks that I'm gonna like have, so people can actually play.
I have returned.
Hello, how's your pee-pee?
Much satisfying.
Good.
I don't play trading card games because where we live,
I know, right?
it's Virgin miles from any of... You've got to go to Nottingham.
So there's literally like 6 around us, but they're all at least 14.5 miles away from us to play. So it's at least a half an hour trip there and back.
There's Peterborough.
There's the Rift to Peterborough.
But I've been there and played a couple of Pokemon games there. I don't know, I hope he doesn't. He overcharges. Let's say that.
Yeah, he's a little bit on the expensive side, and he had like no internet presence until I said to him, "Now's the time to have an internet presence." And he went like, "Maybe I should then."
There's the shop in Nottingham that I used to go to, which is just closed.
Closed, or like just shut because of COVID?
Both closed. They now are only a board game type internet present.
Okay.
And they do like online D&D sessions and... But
So it's, you can't meet in public, and obviously people want to do D&D still. Makes sense.
you might do D&D on Friday over Zoom.
Webcam D&D, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this. You can't go meeting anyone, so I have to have my own tunic on in my own house, looking like a weirdo. Can't go to anyone else's house looking like a weirdo now.
They tell you're not a driver.
No.
Because
Well,
you're
that's the
just
thing,
like, oh yeah, 40 miles away, so it's half an hour drive there and back.
Like
Peterborough is like 11 miles away, and that's a
From-
half an hour drive.
from my house, from my front door to the Rift, it's 14.5 miles away. In the car.
And that'll take you a good half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's like half an hour. Well, depending on it all depends on traffic. If it's a quiet day, like 25 minutes to half an hour. If it's a shitty day, like you're looking like nearly an hour probably, because you know what Peterborough's like for traffic.
What, do you still use the Rift?
If we go to Peterborough, I'll pop in and like buy a couple of things just to sort of keep them open. But as you may be aware,
I haven't used the Rift since the promo Shiny Magikarp Gyarados box came out.
but yeah, what was that, like 6 years ago? A bit more than that?
Something like that.
But yeah, good box though. So yeah, we used to run Magic the Gathering at the house because they stopped doing it at the local hobby shop. Just an actual hobby shop for those people thinking like, why do you want to open a card shop in this town? It was an actual like pottery shop, but the owner's son-in-law liked Magic, so he said like, yeah, everyone come around, we play Magic in here. They don't mind us playing because we're not disturbing anyone. So they used to have like 8 to 10 people there a night, And they moved premises to a different shop and went like, we can't run it anymore because there's no space for you and we don't want you to be here. Fair enough.
And it's breaching.
Nope.
Like,
I spoke because obviously I'm renting
shop
like
laws.
because I was trying to rent the place next to it. I asked about it and they were like, nope, there's no reason why they can't do it. It's literally their choice because they're the same people that do for them. And I said to them, oh, you got a curfew soon? That's what we were told. It's like, nope, there's no curfew in these properties. They just obviously don't want you to be there. It's like perfectly fine. There's no reason to lie to us about it. Just tell us that you don't want us to be there. Like, we're going to be upset by it.
Did you rent that place?
So, I don't know if I say it in the video, but it's like 15 grand a year. There's like no storage place whatsoever there. It's a nice, there's enough space in that shop to have a front, but there's no back to that shop. So I don't think it will. I think I have to look at like a warehouse. Like rental warehouse space at the same price, but have all like the storage space. But hopefully this year, once like I can actually get to Asmodee and they can go like, yeah, you're an actual place, we'll actually supply you with product. I'll start off small and actually look at investing in a place.
Play.
So yeah. So for now, it's going to be we can run
Point at the minute anyway because it's
well, that's the thing. I can still use it as an actual like drop-off centre, so you can come still pick up from the store and I can still sell out the store. I just can't have the doors open, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, like last year sometime I was looking at the warehouses at the back of big Tesco's. Obviously, whoever doesn't live here has no idea what I'm on about, but for the gentleman that I'm talking to, they know where big Tesco's is. There's a few warehouses to a degree at the back. Yep. I think the toy store's down there. Well, they had one of those available. It was like there was like no service charge on it, but it was like £900 and something a month, which would be cheaper than what I'd be paying for this place.
Some of those warehouses are shops too, so could you not have turned one of those shops into a warehouse?
Well, that's what I'd have done. I'd have had a store front, and then had like obviously the warehouse as its storage centre, so it would have been plenty of space. But when I went to inquire about it last year, they went like, "Oh, really sorry, we literally rented it out like this time yesterday."
Oh.
I was like, "Oh, well, what was the size of it?" It was like 16 square, 1,600 square feet or something, which is like over double the size of this one. It was just a little bit cheaper, but obviously it's not in the main town hub, it's on the side. But in all fairness, if you're running a business like that, you probably want to be in the more countryside of the city, so no one's going to complain that you're making too much noise when someone's having a tournament at like 7:30 in the evening. What's that, Sonny? Who broke a Pikachu?
Don't even get me started on... Oh, you like Pokemon? Is Pikachu your favourite?
I love it. Like, oh, what are you into? It's like, like anyone of our own age. Like, oh, I like Pokemon. I like, video games. Oh, do you like COD? No, I hate COD. Do you like Fortnite? No, I'm an actual adult. What do I like Fortnite for?
What's COD?
Call of Duty.
Oh, COD.
Yeah, COD. Or Modern Warfare. Like, you saw someone our age who plays video games. Oh, do you play Modern Warfare? No. Oh, I do.
No.
Well, that's good for you then. But I actually like spending time on games I can actually progress in, not do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. Well, what am I currently playing?
I'm playing Cyber Sleuth because I'm apparently into Digimon again.
I'm playing lots at the minute. I'm such bad.
Well, I've been a very big weeb. I'm playing Genshin Impact. I'm playing Digimon, and I'm playing like Valhalla. So, what's Mr. Graham sending me? It's old Digimon cards. Is that you found that while you went for a PP, or you just found it on the internet?
I knew where they were.
Okay.
I knew it. I just grabbed them on the way fast. Do you remember them?
Oh, I used to love them. I have the Piedmon promo from like the Cheerios back in the day. Not here. This is the weird thing. So all my old cards, any cards I have, are at my nan's, somewhere in that house, and my PS Vita. Like the only things I can tell you on my nan's house that belong to me is my PS Vita and my like WotC cards and my Digimon cards and some more very old Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They're in that house somewhere.
I've got some shiny ones.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I think there's a couple of shinies you got from like the starter deck, and I think you might have got a couple out of the packs. But all the other shinies are all promo cards from like cereal boxes. So there's a good chance you have a promo that's like being bent in half by like, the actual just like contents of the box.
I'm just gonna try and group them all together and take a picture for you.
So yeah, so I don't think you asked me, Nick. I think it might have been someone else. It might have been Robin. I don't know if you know. Do you remember Rob from Pokemon Group?
No.
Well, he goes by Robin, so he's transitioned into a genderless form. I can't put it better than that. It's not meant to be. I didn't say it offensively. I just can't put it any better than that. So he's now Robin, which is perfectly fine. It's gender neutral.
Okay.
But he was asking me like how the game works, and I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes like, "Oh, do we need to get specific Digimon to digivolve into other Digimon?" I was like, "No, it's all level and color based. So as long as you have like a level 3 digivolving into a level 4 with the same color, it's perfectly fine." He's like, "Oh, that's great. It's good." But obviously, back in the day with these cards, it was like you need specific Digimon, and they weren't Digimon that would normally digivolve into these Digimon, so the card game made no sense whatsoever. 2 Gatamons.
They're just the shiny ones.
I remember the Hercules Kabuterimon in the background.
The blue ones.
Huh?
Yeah, the blue ones.
They're the blue ones.
Oh,
The blue ones,
so you,
yeah.
so you can,
I put it in the Discord if you want.
there you go. Send it to Nick. I need to make a group chat for us, by the way, for the.
Yes, I had loads of them.
So just gonna look at my phone, you can see here. Catherine says she told the older 2 in the taxi because, as we've already discussed, neither of us can drive, and she's picked up the kids today because it's last day the kids with their father. She's told the older 2 that I was recording a podcast in the house, so I need to be quiet when I get back in. Apparently, I texted her anyway. I was like, "Is it somebody I know? Is he a podcast that I'd listen to?" She's like, "No, it wouldn't be. Probably not." Unless you're one of the 10 people that listen to the podcast, no, you definitely wouldn't be, sir. But thank you for the interest. Yeah. I used to have some of those wonderful cards, but no, they are sadly hidden somewhere in my nan's house.
A lot of my... anything that I owned before I was 15 all got binned by my mum.
No, I'm very lucky that I didn't have that relationship with my parents. They understood, like, what I was interested in had never really changed. They never really got rid of things. I think when I was, like, under 10, they got rid of, like, my Action Men stuff. Well, they sold it, or my Legos. But they never sold, like, my Pokemon stuff.
Like, what is it? Like, I had a Mega Drive that was given away at the end of a car boot sale. It didn't
Nice.
sell, so they were just like, take it.
I mean, in all fairness, it's not worthless still. No, I think my Mega Drive... Well, my nan liked my Mega Drive, so she'd play when I was at school. So I'd get home and she'd be playing, like, Rainbow Jump or something. I'd be like, "Nan, come on, you're meant to be a productive member of society." No, so that's still at my nan's. We had both. We had the Mega Drive, and what was the other one? Master System?
Master System, yeah.
So I think my sister had the Master System, and I had the Mega... Which was the first one?
Master
Master
System.
System.
Yeah, so I had the Master System, and I had the apparatus to put the Mega Drive stuff into the Master Drive. And then
No,
my
it's
sister...
the other way round. You
Where?
had a Mega Drive that you put a Master System on top of.
There you go. So I had that version. My sister had the original then. And then, yeah, so my nan loved Rainbow Jump, whatever it's called. And she just, yeah... You come home, she'd be playing it. You're like, "You're right, Nan? Yeah. Just playing, like, level 17 again." So, yeah, okay.
It's
You
all
want a
about
coffee?
Alex
Mega
Kidd.
Drive
That's
came
the
with Alex Kidd built in.
Master System, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember playing Alex Kidd. I remember playing a lot of, like, Sonic.
It was hard, Alex Kidd.
And I remember playing, like, the American football game that didn't make any sense.
Cracks me up that there's people that are like, "Oh yeah, Alex the Kid was well good." It's like, no, it's Alex Kidd.
Yeah.
It's just Alex
His
Kidd.
third name
Do you not
is
remember the Polly
Kidd.
Pocket, like, TV
Alex
series?
Kidd. No.
I had the toys, because my sister was into Polly Pockets, and they're basically Polly Pockets for boys. So Mum was like, "Well, if Bex likes Polly Pockets, you'll like Max Kid stuff." I was like, "Probably." They were pretty cool. They were like little figures that you'd like run around like a little like maze or something inside a toy. They were cool.
I know what Polly Pockets are and I remember them, but I never had any.
I had a couple. I had like the skull face, and I had like the like a turtle face. They're alright. But I don't remember playing the game though.
Oh, Alex Kidd was awesome. It was just really hard.
So it's a bit like
it had,
Pitfall.
and the thing where you did the rock, paper, scissors, like, twice on a level. And it was just... After a while, there was a pattern, but it was quite difficult.
It's like, I've played this game for 700 hours now. I now know the pattern.
Yeah. I had Screwball Scramble as well, I think it was
Yeah, I
called.
remember Screwball
The
Scramble.
marbles.
That's good.
That was awesome.
Try to think what I did. Like, I had like, is it Daytona the original Daytona Racing or something like the Master System as well?
I think so.
Yeah, that was a weird looking like Matchbox game. Daytona. Oh. These kids don't know what they're dealing with these days. Those pixelated graphics were the best.
So I'm just going to go off on a slight tangent. So I said I played RuneScape a minute ago. One of the guys in my clan on RuneScape was #1 in the world for one of the Digimon games. And he showed us his profile. It was not Digimon World, but it was like the mobile version of it.
Yeah. Graham, why do you know all these people are like the best people in the world for things and like you don't invite them to the podcast?
He showed us his his profile, and and how much he spent on the game. Tens of thousands of his Australian. Lots of money.
So like £5 then, really.
Yeah, but it was crazy the amount that he spent. But he's like, oh yeah, I sunk all this money into it. I thought I might as well get to best in the world. Okay, why?
Might as well just there now. Might as well just do it.
Find
out it's actually the anime man. So what was it like? So for those who have only like listened to this episode because you're only interested in Digimon and tangents that we go into, so Graham knows a lot of very important people in, I'm going to say, like the world of like just randomness. So he's a friend of the guy that runs Cerebi.com. Cerebi.net.
I have been to his house.
Apparently he's been to his house now many times. So
Joe. His name's Joe.
Look, man, we're not name dropping here. We're just clout dropping.
Pokemon Worlds was supposed to be last year in London, which has now been postponed.
Which is weird because they technically postponed it, but they still had a world tournament that you had to get invited to that only Nintendo invited you to, that you couldn't actually like win points. Well, it's so weird.
Joe said they might do it this year. They might redo it in London, but anyway, regardless,
they ain't doing it again because still everything's COVID-y.
I was supposed to meet up with him in London last year, and he was going to introduce me to like Hando and A-Drive and Leonhardt and stuff.
I was meant to be there as the world champion, and my deck won, and I'm upset that I didn't get to be that person piloting that deck. In all fairness, though, it's such a good deck. Like, it was like tier S. Either way, I still like to meet Joe. I just want to thank him and anything else. He's done so much for the community.
He's a nerd.
Definitely, like, but how many nerds at that time actually made like how many actual like Pokemon sources are there? There's literally Cerebi, there's Bulbapedia, and what is it, Pokebank?
I can't say Bulbapedia without retching. Such an awful website.
It is, but I mean they've been there for a long time. That's what I'm saying. They've been there for so long.
The problem with Bulbapedia is it used to be called Bulba Garden back in the day.
Because they changed over.
When it was a website, and they did anime more than they did TCG and they did games. And then they realised there wasn't a market for it, so they went into a wiki when wikis started to get really popular. And that's why they get more hits through Google, because Google prioritises wikis over actual decent websites like Cerebi. Yeah.
But do you remember when they used to like, do the an actual article person that used to do like the articles like how Pokemon like were designed and like the way they came from?
Yeah, their name was, I think his name was Chris. I did a podcast with him 10, 15 years ago.
He's like the only guy I can honestly say that I actually went to that website to actually watch, because his stuff was actually quite interesting.
Yeah, he was quite good.
So, Chris, you're out there?
They used to do an anime podcast every week, and I used to download the cartoon from Japan and watch them, and then we used to review them, and I used to write the episode guides for Bulbapedia and Cerebi.
Ooh!
Which are still on the website. I can prove it if you want. So
Graham here hasn't told me this before. Now we've been doing our third, fourth podcast together. Didn't want to drop yourself in before. Do you want to put some clout out there?
No, it's fine. It was the Hoenn saga mainly when I used to do it.
Around
the time when Ash's Sceptile evolved.
But in all fairness, that is like your favourite generation, though, isn't it? Like you are a Gen 3 fan favourite.
Gen 3 is the best generation. There's no argument. But
it's not. It's not.
Yes, it is. Oh, hands down, it's the best generation.
Even though we're all Gen 1ers, I don't think Gen 1 is the best generation.
I'm not a Gen 1.
You are a Gen 1er.
I'm not a Gen 1er.
How are you not a Gen 1er? When did you get into the game?
We started at Gen 1.
Gen 1er is a derogatory term for someone who's like, Pokemon started and ended with Gen 1.
No.
I'm not a Gen 1er.
Gen 1er is, like, it's become a derogatory term, but Gen 1 basically means you started with the first, like, series. Like, we all started on base set. We all started with, like, the original Ash anime. We all started with whatever else was there. Like, whatever comic was around.
Episode 1.
Yeah, like, we all started, that's what, we're all from Gen 1. Like, we're all Gen 1ers in the sense that we are from Gen 1.
That's where we were introduced to the game.
But I don't think Gen 1 was ever the best series. It was a good series, but it wasn't the best series.
It had some of the most iconic episodes in the TV series, for sure, but it definitely wasn't the best. I'm
personally a massive fan of like Gen 2. I think Gen 2 was...
Has anyone ever cried as much as Bye Bye Butterfree?
No, but I don't admit to it, and I still feel bad today that I cried over it as a child. My granddad came with a bacon sandwich and told me what's wrong. I went, nothing's wrong, don't look at the TV.
I have a shiny Caterpie in Pokemon Go, and I refuse to evolve it because I don't want to see the pink Butterfree.
Well, I have 3 shiny Caterpies, so they're all evolved.
The shiny Butterfree isn't the pink one.
No, it's like a weird greeny purple one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it pink?
No, she's like a special breed. She's basically like...
Literally. She's on that island where they just eat the pink berries where every Pokemon's pink.
Yeah, she's the Orange Island pink berry Butterfree.
I think I remember now. Yeah.
Orange Island is the best part of like the filler for that series because it's just like so stupidly weird. It's also the only time Ash won a league.
The only pink thing about that Butterfree is its feet, hands, and nose. The rest is purple and green.
But also has a nice cool scarf as well for him. No, Butterfree had the scarf, didn't he?
Yes, Butterfree had scarf.
That was a cool scarf. Cool dude scarf. I don't know. I've never cried at the movie for Pokemon. I never found like Ash turning to stone to be like an upsetting thing for me. But I always found like Butterfree like going off with his now girlfriend or slash wife slash whatever always puts a tear in my eye because it's just like, dude, you just let your best friend go. What's going on with you, man?
No, the bad part was...
A bad part?
Of the movie was the Pokemon battling each other.
Yeah, that was like, what's going on, guys?
It was the Pikachu slapping each other.
I've always found that funny.
And refusing to slap the other one was what, like, made me sad.
No, that's not funny.
Not the actual... This was like, I was what, 11 years old?
Pokemon movie came out in 99, so I was 10, so yeah, it'd be like 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never found like the Pokemon bit to be upsetting. I always found it to be like just strange. But I think I was also very much like, you know, the real version should be better than the clones because obviously the clones are just a fake version. But obviously they're hyped up on goddamn Pokemon like steroids, so that didn't work.
So I'm going to rewind slightly again back to when we were talking about Cerebi. So when Joe does his posts, he always posts on the news feed, and he only ever posts. No one ever posts on there, right?
Yeah.
I'm the only other person to ever have posted on there, and there is a link to prove it.
So no, you didn't go back again. You just dropped some more clout. That's what I just heard then.
So if you read the top update when they released the Japanese scans of Korokoro to show the
like new Pokemon or episodes or whatever.
New Pokemon, yeah. It says at the top who posted it. Saturday updated episode pictures down blah blah blah. Who posted it? Moi.
How far are we going back? Have you sent me a picture?
2006. I sent you the link.
Okay, I'll put that in the description. Yeah,
I'm the only other person I think that's ever done that for Joe.
I couldn't tell you without like going back and looking through history, but you're probably not wrong.
Oh well.
Nothing wrong with it.
No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just
you're just special. You're just special, man.
It's cool. Well, Joe's just a really good friend. I've been friends with him for over 20 years. Like,
yeah,
I used to go on holiday with him, like, but I only know him through the internet. I wouldn't know him if Cerebi didn't exist, and websites like Cerebi, Ballpedia, I think Smogon at the time when that was massively popular. All those kind of websites they built a lot of my friendship relationships, and those people I'm still friends with now, like people who live in America, Germany, all over England. Like Joe lives in Bournemouth, and I would go on holiday to Bournemouth, not with the intention to go and see him, but as
obviously would though.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and there are other people that he has friends with. I'm now friends with as well that I wouldn't know if it wasn't for the website. And games like Pokemon, Digimon, Magic Gathering, all those kind of things, they introduce you to these new people, and I've
Pokemon I would say like card games or like interests in general. There's always two types of people. There's people you meet and you want to be friends with, and there's people you meet and you don't want to be there anymore.
No,
exactly. It always depends on what day you walk into that place. It depends on the people you meet.
Yeah, and it's the experiences you share with them as well. And like all of us three being in our 30s, all remembering Pokemon from when we were in our early teens, or some of us a bit younger than that, weren't they, Alex?
Back in my day when I was a child.
When you were a child.
I was still 11, so I wasn't a teen yet.
I was the perfect age for Pokemon.
I'm the old one, man.
Yeah, so I'm literally the actual poster child for the age of Ash, because I was 9 going into 10 when Pokemon first came out. So they literally were like, "You boy! You want to be a Pokemon Master?" "Yes, sir, I would like to be a Pokemon Master." "Good."
27th of February 1996 is when it first came out in Japan, hence why it's 25 years next month. Yeah. But in the UK it was February 1998, I think.
February 99...
Or was it 99?
99.
And I was 13.
Yeah. It came out, at the end of February or the beginning of March, and I remember my granddad recorded it for me, so when I got there... I've said this before on the podcast. I hated Pokemon when it first came out. I thought it was just some trash that all these kids run about. It's like, I'm better than you scumbags. I don't want to deal with this thing. It looks trashy. you kids get into anime? No, I'm not into this. I'm 9 years old. I'm not giving anyone this kind of abuse. And then I went to my granddad's on the weekend, because I used to go there on weekends, because it was like parental rights thing. My granddad had me on the weekends, but he never looked after me because he was at work.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there with my granddad, and I was like, I've heard this like new thing called Pokemon was on, and all the kids really like it. I've recorded it for you. Now, I love my granddad to pieces, so I'm not going to turn around and say, like, no, granddad, you're a fucking arsehole. This is shit. So I sat there and watched it, and after, like, the 4th episode, I was like, got any more? Got any more episodes of this? It's fucking brilliant. I love this.
So then, I was a little bit similar in the sense that I wasn't really...
Well, you're like, a little bit older, aren't you? You're sort of that age where, like, like in cartoons at your age, it's like, looked at like you're some kind of weirdo.
Yeah, but I always am and still am a weirdo. But
we're all weirdos here. Let's put that to like down. We're all weirdos here.
But no, I remember like when it first started. I think it was on SMTV Live. I think with Ant and Dec.
It was originally on Sky One, and then it was on like whatever, and then whatever the like channel variety show was called on CITV was. Because I remember them having like Recess and stuff at the same time. So it was like Pokemon Recess, some girl program that I can't remember, like maybe Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like the cartoon version.
Digimon was on as well, wasn't it? At the same time.
Later on, yeah, because that came out the year after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so basically, it was like Pokemon came in, then Pokemon finished, and then Digimon came in with Beetleborgs. Oh man, Beetleborgs were the best.
Yeah.
Power Rangers. That was a really weird time to be alive as a child. Pokemon, Power Rangers, Beetleborgs, like Alex Max, like Alex Kidd the TV show, Biker Mice from Mars, Shark Attack, what it was called.
That's a great program.
Like there was a good.
Street Sharks. Was it the Street Sharks?
Street Sharks. That's it. What a great time to be alive in the 90s. You kids do not know what you're listening to these days. Watching YouTube's
Mutant Hero Turtles. Because we weren't allowed the term ninja, because ninja would make us violent.
Yes. Although the action in the show still showed violence, so whatever.
No, but I can't remember. One of them had their I think Mikey had his nunchucks changed in the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
I know one of them was changed,
or it might have been the thigh.
I think it was a thigh.
Rap thigh might have been changed. I can't remember. I just know one of them had.
I think did he get his like size changes like bamboo sticks? The same with the Donatello swords and all that. Like all the blading weapons got turned into like stick versions.
Yeah.
Because like sticks aren't as dangerous. No, but you can still give someone blunt force trauma, you idiot.
It's almost like when Brock has made Onigiri and he's like, "Who wants a donut?"
Yeah. Then my favourite is like Pokemon has like an episode where there's like I think it's like episode 9 when they meet Squirtle Squad, and like the episode like everyone's holding guns in front of like Ash's face. Now in Japan, because like their gun crime is not a thing, it doesn't make sense to like censor it. But everywhere else outside it's like gun crime's really fucking bad, you know. You can't show guns to children. And they got like America like gun adverts in between like Pokemon and like the next episode of Pokemon. Good old NFA. What, NSA? But then there's like an episode in Yu-Gi-Oh! As well where they have like guns pointed at like Kaiba, and they're just pointing their fingers at him and says like, "You boy! Where do you think you're going?" Oh shit, he's got a finger.
And it's like they change cigarettes to lollipops and everything.
I'm okay with that, to be honest. That one I'm not so bothered by. But that's because Kojak's cool. If you know who Kojak is.
No.
So Kojak was like a 70s detective show, and he always had a lollipop instead of a cigarette, because obviously at the time in the 70s, so liberal with the whole like smoking and or whatever. But like his character thing was he used to suck on a lollipop all the time. So whenever I see things in like anime or like cartoons where like someone's like sucking on a lollipop instead of a cigarette, just make you think of a reference to like Koja. Whatever his name was.
One anime that takes the piss out of it, and he's got a He's got a stick sticking out of his mouth and it's smoking at the end. And he's a teacher. And the kid comes up to him and is like, "You're in class, you shouldn't be smoking." He's like, "I'm not smoking, I'm sucking on my lollipop." And he pulls out this massive lollipop out of his mouth. But he's like sucking it that hard that the stick's smoking.
Oh dear.
This stick's got friction burns. Then again, my first real manga, my first real anime that I actually enjoyed and chose for myself was like Cowboy Bebop. So like Spike Spiegel just smoking it everywhere.
Seen Cowboy Bebop.
I love Cowboy Bebop.
The first ever anime that I picked and chose for myself as like a not Pokemon was Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that was on TV, but like I didn't. That was just on because it was like on the children's show, so I didn't really think about it. But when I was older, I actually picked Cowboy Bebop. So I hate the animation for like JoJo's Bizarre. It was around like the like after Pokemon, after Dragon Ball. I couldn't get into it because like the weird like 70s hairstyles, and I still can't enjoy it now. But like JoJo's Bizarre is like probably like one of the best anime/mangas that's ever been made.
Yeah, everyone loves like.
But I can't get into it for like I've got like the weird nostalgia of like I didn't like it as a child. I would for whatever reason I won't like it as an adult. I don't know why.
Well, it didn't get released in England for years because all of the moves were named after like 80s pop songs.
Yeah. Copyright things.
So like lots of the dialogue was copyrighted.
Well, they're all named after like singers as well, aren't they? Like Dio Brando is like just Dio Brando. Good old Dio. Rest his soul.
Yeah, I've tried to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Because I don't know if you've ever met Hayden, because Hayden's the guy that kind of got me to like magic, because he was basically the teacher of the group, of the magic group. And he got me into that. He was like, you know, you'd probably like JoJo. I was like, I probably would, but I just can't get into it. And he's a massive fan of JoJo, so he came over one night, put like JoJo on Netflix. He's like, just watch JoJo. And it's like a bit slow, innit? And what's that other kid getting slacked around for? It was me, Dio!
It was like when they released the last episode of Star Wars, the new robot was called Dio, and I was just about to Photoshop that thing where it's like, you thought it was but it was me, Dio. And I was gonna like...
You thought it was Jar Jar Binks, but it was me, Dio.
And I found it on the internet, and I was like, no, I thought I'd created a meme.
No, you can't beat the anime community, you know that. They're like 2 steps ahead of everyone. Yeah. So what's everyone's like least favourite animation they've ever seen or been part of?
Least favourite anime?
Yeah, you've either seen something you really didn't like, or you've seen a movie you're like, this was terrible. Why was this even released? I think Nick can probably guess mine, just because we're both like Final Fantasy fans.
Oh. Spirits Within?
Yeah, fucking terrible. The animation was fantastic for the time, but the storytelling was like, what the hell?
Is that the one that's completely CGI? Computers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Completely CGI in a time where like CGI was awful. It was good, but it cost like 300 million yen or something to make it, and it has like no story.
They've just made it because it looks pretty, that kind of thing.
I think they were just riding on the hype of how Final Fantasy was at the time.
They spent so much time explaining how each and every single strand of her hair was a strand of hair.
Yeah. It was essentially it was a tech demo for how the CGI was.
You put it next to in-game videos running at 30 frames per second now, and it's just like, oh, okay.
This was like 22, 23 years ago, though, so there's a massive difference. It was like the most technically graphical thing ever made at the time. Like, it was fantastically designed. It's just they had no story. It didn't make sense. It wasn't a Final Fantasy project. Like, it didn't follow Final Fantasy. Just awful. Awful.
The worst thing for me is the English dub of Advent Children when they're like, dilly dally shilly shally.
I'm okay with that.
Dilly dally shilly shally.
I'm always okay with dilly dally shilly shally.
Fucking hate dilly dally shilly shally.
No, I'm okay with that. Because it's just Eric being cute, I'm okay with it.
Turn it off every time that bit comes on.
If we're gonna do like dubbing, like the terrible laughing that's meant to be terrible laughing in Final Fantasy X always gets me. I'll listen to it. I don't like it. Ha 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 ha! You try it now. Ha 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 ha! Kill me.
What's his name?
Waka.
Waka.
Final Fantasy X is just a travesty of a game, if we're honest. In terms of like the dubbing.
Oh yeah, maybe.
The game's good. I like 10 is not my favourite game, but it's a good game. It was technically the PS2 tech demo, wasn't it? Like, this is what a PS2 game can be. Which at the time was good. You know. Nowadays, not so much. Although I feel like Final Fantasy 13 was like... No, Final Fantasy 12 was worse graphically than Final Fantasy 10.
Final Fantasy 13 was a PlayStation 3 tech demo. That
was terrible.
Awful.
So Final Fantasy's got this weird thing of being like it's like the best thing normally on a platform. Like Final Fantasy 7 showed you how good like a PlayStation 1 could be, and yeah, it was fantastic. placed 8 and 9 were like obviously just showing like what we could do with different cell shadings. Yeah, perfectly great. 10, again, tech demo for like PS2. 11, MMO, still going around today. 12, trash. Like it looked awful. Like I don't know who like designed the any of it. It was just awful looking on the PS2. Final Fantasy 14 came out for PS3. Yeah, again, it was just a tech demo that didn't make sense because the game to play didn't start till like, literally the last 10% of the game.
What did you say? 14?
14. No, 13.
I was going to say, because 14's the...
14 was also terrible. Like I played both the original game and the new game, and the original game was awful, but I loved it because I love grind. I'm one of those crazy people that will happily grind for 14 hours a day and not actually get anywhere.
I play RuneScape.
So you know how I feel then.
For the first one.
Yeah, the beta for 14 was just like what? Well, it's Takahana. Takahana's just a fucking idiot. Like he's got like really old like Japanese business where like if we want to make money out of people, we have to make them spend more time. It's like no, people will spend the same amount of money either way. But if you make it easy, they actually feel like they're actually doing something. So they actually want to spend more money by staying. And it's like no, we got to make it as hard as possible. Like, have you ever played 11, or have you ever heard anything about 11?
Heard of 11.
So 11's got a boss at the end called Absolute Virtue. Like, it was technically the end boss for a long time. And there was ways of beating it without beating it the correct way. Well, if you beat it the wrong way, then ban you. And back then, this is where it took you like 2 years to get a character from like level 1 to like max level. Like the grind to just leveling was years. It took years because there was no simple way to level. Experience is really hard to get hold of.
My friend that I mentioned, we went to Switzerland together. He's just started playing again, and he's like, he had a character banned, and he was like, it was my day one. It was playing the year's character, and he was like, I've already got more better shit now, and I've been playing for a week. Like
it's so much different now compared to how it used to be. It used to be like to play Final Fantasy 11 between like 2003 or 4 until 2012. It was just playing how much can I grind without like getting tired. And back when you're like early 20s, like late teens, you can grind all day because it doesn't weigh you down. Nowadays, I can't play Final Fantasy 14 for like more than an hour and a half before I'm like, I'm so tired, like I'm just exhausted. And Final Fantasy 14 is not even a grind in comparison to Final Fantasy 11.
I'm still right at the beginning, so I'm still just doing the story.
Well, it's 14. Free to play for like anyone under level 60, as far as I'm aware, for as much time as possible. So just enjoy it. Like the worst part about that game is like Around Reborn, which is like expansion 0, expansion 1. It's just trying to like make you forget like there was a game before it because of how much it's had to retcon itself. And then once you get to like Heavensward, which is the second expansion, the game's fantastic. But like the first like game is super slow.
So much like mention of how they're like, 5 years, there was a great catastrophe that we had to wipe the world.
Looking at you, Takahana. Don't do it again. You're not in the game industry anymore, as far as I'm aware. Get out. You've ruined it in front of people. So what about you then, Graham? What's your worst anime experience?
I think he's gone.
Yeah. I think he's okay. I think he hasn't had one yet.
My first adult, like...
Hold on, where's this going? You said adult.
Watch an anime was Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah. Well, I think I watched it just before that. I think I watched it like when I was in my late teens.
Which is why I've got a Alphonse tattoo.
Well, I tried to have Alphonse as my so when I played Final Fantasy 11, I played Final Fantasy 11 for like a couple of, like 3 or 4 years. Then I got with my fiance and she was basically like, if you love me, you'll get rid of it. I was like, yeah, you know what, I do love you. I'll stop playing. Got rid of it. Got rid of my character. Then like we broke up after like a year and a half. Then I went back to it. Couldn't get my character back. So I was like, fuck it, I'll start again. So I tried to go for Alphonse as my character name. Couldn't get the character name, so I stayed with Aldrich, which I then found out was Elder in German. So yeah, I'm also a fan of Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes, I've got my statue arriving in the next couple of weeks.
Well, hey.
You should be getting off the boat today.
Anytime soon, yeah. So, Final Fantasy 15. I wouldn't even say that was not a tech demo for PlayStation 4 because it was late. Because was the original?
I platinumed it. I loved it.
I've platinumed the base game. I haven't platinumed like the the episodical parts.
No.
I have.
You bought 16?
I'm very looking forward to 16. Apparently, a lot of people are saying
I like-
16 is going to be the next MMO. I was like, no, they're not going to take 14 away yet. 14's going to have another, like, at least a couple of expansions first.
I like the fact that it looks like they've gone full on fantasy again. Not
Yeah, they've
just
gone back to its roots. Like,
yeah,
I look forward to just going to One Nation. It's just all machines again, though. It's like, the hell happened here?
it's not Final Sci-Fi, it's Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Then again, people always complain like Final Fantasy. It's like, look, there's time travel is in like most of the games, and most of the games have to revolve around a crystal of some variety. That's just what's in a Final Fantasy game. Anything else can be anything else. Graham, are you okay? You're very quiet over there. No, I think the coke can killed him. So, what's the last actual proper Final Fantasy game we had? Was it like Final Fantasy
15.
No, well, that's more like sci-fi fantasy, wasn't it, though? I mean, like, proper, like, old-school
9.
Final Fantasy game. Yeah, I was going to say, is it 9?
With
say,
the airships.
Yeah, I'd say 9 was a proper, like, old-school,
Because even
medieval-style
8,
Final Fantasy game.
You had Balan Garden, and they were all...
That was, like, modern sci-fi again, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
7 was, like, technically, like, modern-ish sci-fi.
Steampunk.
Yeah. Well, was it nuclear punk, I guess? Because it was all about the radioactivity of, like,
Not
Maca
nuclear,
energy.
it's all about Gaia. Like,
Maca energy, which is technically, like, meant to be their version of, like, radiation.
well, no, it's the planet Earth.
It was, but
Or
so
their
they
planet.
treated it like
They
it
were
was
just...
like the atomic weapon.
Yeah.
Put it in my
Well, no,
veins,
it-
goddammit! And then 6 was old school. I think everything before 6 was basically old school, wasn't it?
Yeah, because you start off in a mech suit.
In 5 or 6? I can't remember between those two. It's been so long. 6, yeah, you start in the mech. Yeah, start in the mecha tech suit, don't you?
Yeah.
As Rider. The
remember
Esper
it
girl.
now.
Esper girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's steampunk fantasy to me. I always find like the mechs used to be like steampunky.
9.
Yeah, 9 was probably the last time. Well, yeah, because I suppose if you think about it, like
Maybe
12
the
is-
last one was the DS release of 3, which was probably more recent than...
yeah, that came out like late 2000s. So yeah, probably. That's probably. Yeah, like 2008 or something, 2007.
Was that 3 or was that the American 5 or...
They released like all of them, like again on the 3DS, not 3DS, SP systems, I think.
Yeah.
I know one got 4 got a remake on PS Vita.
Because I believe Final Fantasy, America got Final Fantasy 3, but it was actually Final Fantasy 5.
Yeah, they got their one is free basically. So their first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy 3. Then they got Final Fantasy 2, which was their 4. Then they got Final Fantasy 3 and 4, which was obviously 5 and 6, and they got Final Fantasy 7.
No, 'cause Final Fantasy 6 has always been Final Fantasy 6.
Is it? I thought they jumped to
Yeah.
7. I thought 7 was where they jumped into the actual numbers. So it's like, oh, what happened to the rest of the
No.
games? But no, wasn't
No,
there like
'cause the
Final Fantasy
SNES
1, Final Fantasy 1, and Final Fantasy 2 put together?
Oh, I can't remember.
There's so many weird things like the American releases. We got them normally over here in Europe, but in America they didn't. Graham's alive. I can hear movement.
Yeah, I said I was back, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
But
We're talking to you. We didn't know you'd gone. It's like, Graham, where are you?
There was someone at the door, sorry.
How dare they? On a Saturday as well. Is it delivery?
I have to go to
No, it looks
Law will be
shadows,
back
so-
soon.
All right. So let's have a look at the old checklist. See what we're actually doing.
None
here.
of it.
None of it. Yeah.
I'd ask a random question to you both while you're
Yes.
doing that. What would you say is the most valuable thing that you currently have in your possession regarding Pokemon cards and Digimon
I was say possession. I'd say PS5 because I think this is like worth more than Goldust right now.
cards? That doesn't count.
My Lily
Pokemon
being
card.
worth 13 to 1,500 quid as a card.
Yeah,
That's there.
that's insane, yeah.
I haven't got a lot of like what one card's worth a lot of money, but I've got quite a few that are worth like the same like £400 to £500 mark currently.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got like Chunky Chew, which is going for like £350. I've got the hyper rare Charizard VMAX, which is like 400. I've got A couple of the Starlight rares from Yu-Gi-Oh! They're worth like between 300 to 700 each now. So I've got
Wow.
like nothing worth like on its own a ton of money, but I've got a few things that are worth a little bit.
I think mine's probably Grand Party.
Yeah, that's got to be up there now.
Yeah.
I presume all our stuff is
I
raw.
should-
I don't think anyone here's got any
Yeah,
PSA cards,
yeah.
have we?
I only have one PSA card. It's an Ancient Mew that I bought for like a tenner off a mate. It's a
Back in
9.
the day. Oh, that's not bad still. That's probably still worth like 100
Yeah,
quid
it's-
still.
3 PSA cards.
I don't
Oh,
like them though.
I'm not a fan of PSA. I don't know how you feel personally. I don't like graded system because I think it's just someone's opinion of what a card looks like. Because you see some like the old
Yeah.
school like PSA 10s, it's like that card's got like a massive ding in it. How's that a 10?
The one thing...
Got
Sorry, go on.
I've got a Japanese HAL PSA 10.
Ooh. How much though?
Pardon?
How much did it cost you?
I didn't. I traded for it.
Oh, okay.
When I came back from Japan, I traded part of my Poncho EV set for
Oh,
it.
they're cool cards.
I came back with 3.5 sets,
Oh, fair enough. So you actually had like
and
spares.
I gave one away.
Nutter.
So I've got
Nutter.
2 sets.
Is it the Howl with the Raichu in it? Is it that card?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's have a look, shall we? PSA 10.
I have an Entei, old hollow Entei,
The promo or
with
the actual
Whirl.
like Neo one?
the Neo one, I believe.
Nice, like that one.
Maybe later. I don't really know. I haven't really looked, and it's not worth anything. I think it's only a 9.
You'd be surprised how much these knives are worth now. Especially if
And
it's hollow.
I have a Team Rocket card,
Nice. Let's go Team
which
Rocket.
has like Jesse James and
Mm.
Rocket's
Meowth.
Return, maybe?
I'll go get them. Give me 2 seconds.
Alright. So while he's disappeared for a second,
Yeah.
the renaissance of the TCG. What's your opinions?
Say again, sorry?
The renaissance of the TCG, and I suppose CCG, what is your opinion?
The Renaissance.
Well, I'd say this is technically, well, the last 6 months has been a renaissance for card
I
games.
guess. I've not heard it being described as a Renaissance.
You never will. No one uses the words renaissance these days. Come on, man. No one out there who's like picking up Pokemon cards is sophisticated enough to say renaissance.
Well, no, actually.
I wouldn't call it Golden Age either because I feel that's just a terrible term people just use as a term.
I mean, Golden Age is probably a better way to describe it because other people would understand it.
I don't
I'm not
like.
saying that people would
I always say
understand
like,
that, but
for me personally, a Golden Age is like the first time something was good. So to me, Golden Age would be like when
I
it
guess-
first came out.
if you want to dumb it down, I can call it a rebirth, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
A resurgence.
A resurgence, yeah, that's good. I like that. I think the resurgence itself is good for the exposure.
But do you think it was the right time though, or do you think it came at like the worst time possible for TCGs?
Is there a right time?
I
Is there a
think
wrong
like
time?
for me personally, I feel
I-
like it's a really bad time just because of how like choked like supply is for this card game. So everyone's obviously interested in a monetary standpoint as opposed to a collectible
I
standpoint.
guess, but there's 2 ways of looking at it, isn't it? You look at it as a collector, or you look at it as an investor.
Yeah.
Personally, I look at it as a collector. I don't look at it as an investor because I don't buy the cards to sell them. I buy them to keep them and put them in folders and never look at them.
That's-
You know?
Well, I think we're all the same here to be honest. Besides Nick, who collects only certain cards.
Exactly, but I think it's been a good thing because lots of people who have got cards maybe hidden away that they didn't realise they had, or they've rediscovered and they've
All those first edition book champs, everyone, you gotta find them.
yeah,
They're worth
But,
like
you know,
£3 now.
They're re-entering the market. Okay, maybe it's inflated prices, but they're there for people to purchase. But also on the flip side of that, they are at those inflated prices. So people are like, I don't know, I'll use myself as an example where I don't want to invest thousands of pounds in completing these collections. You do get demoralised when you think I need like 2 cards to complete this set. One of them's worth £600 and one of them's worth 50p. I can't pull either of them, and I never will. So I'll just have a set that's got 2 cards missing.
It's like,
So like Unified Minds is a good set. Unified Minds is a good set as an example because I invested a lot of money to try and complete that set. I had 6 cards. 3 of them are rainbow rares. I'm never going to get them unless I buy them. You buy a booster box, you're not guaranteed a rainbow rare.
Yeah, but the rainbow rare cards now, unless they're rare, are cheap. You can get a rainbow rare for 15 quid.
True,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can now, but at the time when I was trying to build the set, it was when it was the current set. So like I pulled the Mewtwo and Mew Hyper Rare. I have
and that's the thing. The issue, isn't it? Where you go like, do I just sit on my hands and just hope it gets cheaper, or do I just try and go in while there's stock available? What's Nick sent me? Oh, it's PSA cards. So his PSA cards are the cool. Try to see if they can see it on the camera. No, definitely can't because I took it out. Just stick. So if anyone actually wants to see, because I'm not going to get it up on screen. Cool looking Meowth. Cool How, and the that's the promo. That's the promo.
I think I have that in.
So I've got the English version. I've got the Japanese version.
English, yeah, I mean English. Sorry, yeah.
My Japanese one has a really nice swirl in the hollow. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, that's the thing about some of the Japanese ones. They've got like the perfect placement of these swirls. It's like they look so nice. And you look at the English ones, like, why is it like half cut out? But yeah, so that's the thing. There's like 3 issues if you're collecting Pokemon. It's like, 1, how readily available is the set? 2, do I just hope for the best and hope that I buy it now? It's not going to like spike up in price or drop in price too quickly. And 3, do I wait for set rotations and hope that people actually want to sell them out of their decks because it's not worth anything anymore?
I guess, and then there's sets like Rebel Clash, for example, which people tend to
overlook
because it's not a chase card because there's no Charizard in it or there's no whatever. But actually, I quite like the Rebel Clash.
I like that. Yeah, I like the Rebel Clash. It's a nice set.
You know, when it first came out, I bought a booster and like an ETB. I think I pulled the shiny Galarian Meowth, the gold card.
I think all we need from that set is like the shinies. That's all we need for that set.
Boss's Order as well.
And I pulled the shiny Frostmoth.
Oh, nice. I don't want that one here.
That was the card I was after.
And
yeah, that's the card I'd be after because it's such a nice card. It was like £80 when it first came out, so it was like an actual chase card.
Yeah, I really like the Obstagoon from Dark Matter Blazers.
Catherine loves that. Catherine's like, we've got to get that somehow. Like, I don't care who you have to like steal it from, but you got to get it. It's like, Catherine, calm down, we'll get one.
And then Single and Rapid Strike have got Houndoom and an Octillery golden shiny.
They do look nice.
And
so beautiful. The 2 cards that I wanted was the Toxicity VMAX and the Frostmoth, and they were the 2 that I pulled from the set.
That's what you want, right? Because that's what I said to Catherine. I said, what do you want to pull from this box? And she'll sometimes give me just like, oh, let's pull the most expensive, because that way you don't have to look at it from like an eBay perspective. If we get the most expensive, everything else is going to be cheaper. And then, okay, so I'll go like, well, you pick the expensive thing. I want XYZ from the set because I think it's nicest looking. And if we pull either one of those, it's always a bonus.
Yeah.
It's like we pulled the Cape of Toughness from Vivid Voltage. It's not worth a lot, but it's obviously a gold rare. Because it's a gold rare, there's less of them in circulation, so it's just nice to get them where you can.
This is my rare from that.
I mean, we've got Chunky Chew now, so like, there's no anything more expensive than Chunky Chew, so we're done. Everything else is easy now. So
yeah, I've got Boss's Orders. I think that was a later pull though, not from my booster box.
Fair enough. So I asked Graham this question while you escaped for a second. I said, how are you feeling about this current resurgence in the TCG community?
Honestly, pretty much hating it. Because there was always enough people buying and playing to keep it going.
I think a lot of people think that for some strange reason that the card games were dying, but they weren't. There was always just, it's always steady.
But now, because of YouTubers being dickheads...
Not necessarily YouTubers, but definitely influencers.
YouTubers being dickheads. Yeah.
Okay, which YouTubers then? Because I don't know many. I know a couple that I'm going to definitely say, yeah, they aren't very flavourful with their stuff. So who are you thinking of?
What's his name? Leon Hart?
Leon Hart, yep.
Yeah, I think we all dislike Leon Hart. Yeah, I think we all dislike Leon Hart.
Like, I was watching one of his earlier videos and it was like, open Pokemon, what's this? What, this? Oh, I didn't know that Pokemon existed.
Yeah.
And he sounded like a cunt. Now he's like the biggest Pokemon YouTuber on the internet. And it's just like...
No, he's not the biggest.
Is he like a third?
There, isn't he?
Yeah, it's like... It goes like... as weird as it sounds, I think like... Max Mofo has like the highest amount of like subscribers because obviously who he is. So he's like technically number one in terms of... no, it's not. It's Critical. Critical is because he's got like 4 million subscribers.
I don't know who that is.
Critical Penguins. Is Charlie? I'll send you a link to him. He's quite funny. He just like takes on like what people are doing in society and like just makes funny memes out of them.
Well, Unlisted Leaf has got 2.15 million subscribers.
I'd say Unlisted Leaf is probably like the actual
Yugi,
the proper like PokeTuber. I'd say he is like number one PokeTuber, and that's all he does.
I really like watching him as well because it's very clear that he's quite passionate about Pokemon as well. You know, whereas you watch someone like Leon Hart, he's like what Nick said a second ago. He's like, "Oh, what's this Pokemon? Or what's this Pokemon?" And he's like, "I'm going to buy a forgotten about storage container full of old Watsy boxes, and I'm now going to open one packet. Oh, I'm going to open the most expensive packet. Oh, everybody watch me!" And it's a picture of him holding it, and it's just the same.
I'd say that's very American of him to do that kind of thing. Like, look at this bravado.
And then he loses his first edition Charizard because he sends it off to PSA, despite the fact that he lives around the corner from Beckett. He has shown that
50-minute drive.
He can walk to Beckett and join the queue and get it graded there and then. Why didn't he just do that with a $50,000 card?
What a day out that is.
I would not put that in a letter or a parcel and send that fucking anywhere. I would drive that to the place myself. You know. Yeah. He did that for views. Oh no, it's lost, and then 10 weeks later, oh look, it's turned up miraculously because I didn't actually reseal a packet and open it to prove a point on a fucking YouTube video, which we all know he did.
Yeah, and then like there's that. The issue with that is like that's like it seems super fake, but then there's very similar things happen to like Unlisted Leaf, where it's like my box has got lost in America somewhere, but it actually did. It got lost in like one of the warehouses.
He showed the screenshots from UPS, didn't he?
Yeah, he's like I bought like a $6,000 or 8,000 US Australian dollar box. Like, I'm looking forward to it. This could be a great video. And then like 6 weeks later, like, yeah, I know we spoke about it. In all fairness, as far as I'm aware, it's lost in transit. It's lost to like the Netherworld. We'll never find it ever again. And then like 2 weeks later, hey, my box turned up. It's like, what the hell, man? What a roller coaster. But yeah, so like the biggest ones I know of is like Unlisted Leaf, Leon Hart, Max Mofo, the guy that you're on about earlier. I don't know him, so it doesn't really matter to me. Randolph.
He's a prick.
He's a prick. But I think a lot of... and then, like, sadly, I'm going to say like my fifth choice for, like... Pokemon bigger ones. Delirium. Mm-hmm. Just like pack opening.
The whole thing.
I like him.
I think that the hierarchy of the Pokemon YouTubers, it's toxic.
This is what I find really strange. I think that, like...
Pokemon fans are toxic fans.
Oh, yeah. I think people like Unlisted Leaf are in like their own bracket. Like they aren't like mixing with Leon Hart. They aren't mixing with like Randolph. I think they are like in this weird club. I don't know if you've ever seen a video of it. It was done on the Quartering. Do you know the Quartering?
No.
So the Quartering is Jeremy. So he basically does like TCGs and stuff, and he's very into like this culture, but he's also a bit of a shit talker. So he'll do like a lot of shit posts about like what's the word for it? White knighting and stuff like that. So like he'll always like shitpost them because like there's no need for white knighting or gatekeeping. And there was a video he released basically where he got confirmation between Delirium and like 2 other like big YouTubers that did a lot of like pack opening / held a lot of stock. And Delirium basically just turned around and said like I don't want to be any part of this. It's not interested to me. Like I just want my stuff to be my stuff. I don't care what you do. You do your own thing. But then these other 2 people just trying to like basically like rip him down, destroy his career as a YouTuber. And like How sucky of a life do you have that you want to ruin someone else's life because your life sucks that bad?
Yeah.
It's like personally, I have so few subscribers. I could talk about whatever I want to. But if I was a big name, I definitely couldn't go like Leon Hart calling you out, man. You're a loser because it wouldn't happen. Bye, Nick. I guess Laura's turned up.
That is quite toxic as well. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, so I presume he's Laura's gone.
I think Laura's back. He was right though. He's right in what he said about.
Oh yeah, like I don't think he's wrong. Like I think there's a lot of like, or even when you see it, it's toxic. Like the whole atmosphere. I'm gonna go back to this. I've been watching Trash Taste for the last few days. I think like they're really funny, and I think what they say is true. Yeah. So thanks, Nick, for being here. We'll hopefully see you again soon. But we'll carry on the conversation. Just me and Graham. And they were basically saying like how toxic. Like we've turned like being toxic into a meme. And we've turned like gambling into a meme. Like gotcha games are like really popular right now. Obviously, with things like Genshin, Princess Escape, whatever it's called. I've only played Genshin, but there's quite a few gotcha games that are currently out right now. And like you like these streamers will spend like $1,000 and like not get what they want to be like, well, spent $1,000. Don't worry, guys, because I did it. You don't have to. And it's like, well, yeah, you'll get your money back for that. But like your average person who thinks like they can do the same thing, they probably won't get the money back, or they'll go into debt.
Pokemon Masters EX is a little bit like that as well, I guess, because you can spend lots of money on the card, the points or whatever it is you use.
Yeah, I looked at it. I was like, this looks terrible. I'm not gonna like the exchange rate looked awful to me. So I'm not gonna bother.
I've played the game obviously, and I've
played like the free to play version.
I've got quite a few of the higher like 5-star Pokemon. It's just the grind to get them up to being at a stage where you can actually complete the game is so long.
Yeah. I played pre episode 2, so I played like all the base release of the game.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I had no issue with that part because it was so easy to get through everything. And I think I went back like a month later to play like the next episode. Like the first thing just kicks you in the face. It's like I literally have the best Pokemon. I can't get past this stage.
I think when I played it, the best team was like Superior, Raichu, and Totodile, I think it was.
Yeah, they were just overpowered.
Yeah, and I had all 3 of them, and I was like, well, this is easy. And then they updated the game.
No, not anymore. That sucks.
Yeah, now it's just like, okay. And they increased the level cap and everything.
That's exciting. Everything maxed out. They were all powerful. They had all their moves unlocked. I was like, this is great. This is going
and now
good.
you can get shiny Pokemon from eggs and all sorts.
That's how long I haven't played. I haven't played in the egg versions yet, so I might go back and play. I didn't dislike the game, but it's like with Pokemon Go. Like there's only so much you can do before you get like fed up with it.
Yeah, same. I'm fed up with Pokemon Go, to be honest. Like I'll play it. I'll log in every now and again and do some of the challenges, but I'm still not even level 40.
Come on, Gray. I'm trying to get to 41 soon. Well, I got to 40 last year, like the year before, 2019. I just put it down because like there's nothing for me to do now.
Yeah.
The stagger the Pokemon releases so awfully that you don't want to play because you don't know when your Pokemon will come out. So you might as well just go, oh, Gen 5 is out? Alright, I'll wait till Gen 6 comes out. I'll catch all the Gen 5 Pokemon. It's not a Pokemon game like a Pokemon game. It's just like a weird kind of like, how much money can we make out of your game? But yeah, I definitely agree with Mr. Brecken that a lot of the community around anything really can be quite toxic. I think it's just how people are these days.
Yeah, I think people are all also quite wound up at the moment anyway.
Yeah, we're all stuck inside. I mean, I'm quite lucky, and I mean to a degree you're quite lucky. We can still go to our jobs, we can still get out of the house. But a lot of people are in a situation where they probably can't leave the house, or they literally can only go shopping.
Yeah.
And so to them, like, the only way they can get their anger out is if they actually just go online and go like, yeah, I think you all suck, none of you know how to do this, that or the other. If I could get out the house, I'll show you how to do it. And that's just what we're stuck at now. But I mean, you've seen it like already in Digimon, like the community there is quite toxic already because you've got so many people gatekeeping. You've literally got people who like went to pre-releases, got all their decks sorted out, did it on the cheap because obviously they were at the pre-releases, brought all the stock out of their stores so no one else could get anything. Now they're like, well, if you want to play this game, you have to pay me like £500 a box. It's like, dude, why? What's wrong with you? No one's going to pay that price. No one's invested in a game they can't play.
No.
Because no one's going to pay £500 and go, like, this box is worth £500. Because I paid £500 for it. No, that's not how it works. As I said, if you actually want to play, I'm happy to lend you a deck so you can have a shuffle.
I'll have a look.
I've said to everyone, so if you can't get hold of anything, let me know and I'll happily like pass it around. I'll do some deck testing with it. Everyone on the old webcam, get a webcam, goddammit, and we can go from there.
I will look into it.
So now you need to try and get Joe on the podcast still. You need to try and get all your other like important friends on the podcast still.
He's busy.
I know he's busy. You need to get your number one Digimon player from Australia on the podcast now.
I'll talk to him and see if he'll come on.
What, Joe or the Digimon guy?
The Digimon guy is probably more likely.
So it'd probably be interesting since this is meant to be a Digimon episode and we spoke very little about Digimon again.
Which game is it?
It's not the newest one on the line, it's probably one of the older mobile games, I'd say.
He said, when he was talking about it, I'll just read the conversation. I'm a GM in a Digimon game, and I get hundreds of DMs a day. Took a lot of work to get to GM, but I get in-game currency equivalent to about $80 a week.
I'd say it's like Grandmaster, right?
He's blown $35,000 on that game.
US dollars was like £7.50?
Australian dollars.
So yeah, like £7.50 a year.
My response to that was, what the fuck?
Well, it's like half, isn't it? So what's that in English currency? Like 17,000.
It's still a lot of money.
Oh yeah, not say it's not. That's a hell of a lot of money.
It's like a car. He said, as soon as I stopped recharging, I went from top 5 to top 30 in the world.
That's the like gotcha part of the game, isn't it? That's just like...
Yeah, if I said to my missus I spent 35k in a game, I'd be living in the streets, and she's like, oh, she doesn't know.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, who'd you tell? Like, oh, yeah, I'm the best person in the world, but I spent, like, this much money to get there. Well, that's cool, but what do you actually get out of it? Like, yeah, you have to get on the podcast, you have to talk to him about it, because, like, nothing to disrespect... Don't disrespect the man, just, like, how does your mind work? Because to me, that doesn't sound like it's, good.
But he used to live in... Ironically, he used to live in Lincolnshire.
Okay.
Not far away from where we live. And he moved to Australia. Let me see if I can message him. He'll be asleep.
Yeah, what is it in Australia? 8 hours?
12,
yeah, but midnight. No, it's like, it's 11. 11 and a half, because Australia has a weird time zone. I used to have a friend who used to live in Australia, and during winter time it was like 11 and a half hours difference. It's like, half? It's like, yeah, there's like half time zones in Australia. It's like, okay. That's how weird Australia is. Everything tries to kill you, and your time zones are in halves. That's how you know you live in a weird place when everything is in halves and tries to kill you.
Yeah, I'll give him a message to see if he can come on in the near future.
It'd be interesting just to talk to him, just like see how his mind works.
I'll have to find out what game it was. I can't remember what game it was.
So there's not many Digimon online games. There's mobile games. It's probably like one or the other.
It is one of the capture games. I can't remember which one.
So, since we're now just me and you, we spoke about the renaissance of the TCGs / influencers essentially like introducing themselves to the card games after all these years for whatever reason. What are you looking forward to in the future of TCGs?
It reopening so people can meet, and trade. Being able to.
Well, this is such a weird thing for me to say because obviously, we've traded between each other. You've come to ours, but I've never been to a tournament, and that was what last year was going to be. My channel was essentially going to be. This is my journey from being just a random guy trying to be a world champion, and we know my deck won the worlds. God damn it! So it could have been. I could have been that guy. I could have been up there. I could have at least gone to the place. I could have met Joe.
I don't think you've ever mentioned it.
I'm sure I mentioned it every single episode. So I'm not sure if that's you being sarcastic. But that's the thing, though. Like that, my first tournament ever in terms of a card game was going to be at like Sheffield, and I've never been to an actual card game tournament before. I've been to like Pokemon, like the VG tournaments before, and they're like really weird because if you go and get like, there's only so much you can do cheating wise in terms of like card games, but because you got someone constantly watching you. They'll make sure that the person who's watching like the game doesn't cheat. Whereas in Pokemon, you can just back in the day, you could just download whatever you wanted onto your game, and there's nothing the other person can do about it. So it's been a long time since I've been to an actual tournament setting, and it would have been quite nice to actually do a person-to-person like tournament where like you get the atmosphere of like you're actually having to think about what's going on, play by play.
Yeah, I did a couple in Gen 3 and Gen 4, but never seriously to the point where I got any decent progression. It was more just to meet up with friends and stuff and have a couple of...
Well, that's it. It was a day out. It was a proper day out because I'm quite lucky. Being from Birmingham, the VG tournament is in Birmingham. It's at the NEC. Yeah. So literally, it's 10-15 minute bus ride from mine to the NEC. Pop down there with all your mates. There's like 10-15 of us there. 6 or 7 of us are actually entering the tournament, so trying to get our placements. And then the rest of them would just sit around and talk about Pokemon stuff because like they had Pokemon playing in the background, they had anime going on, they had the card games on one side. Back when it used to be done at the NEC, it was card games were on side, Pokemon VG was on the other side. There was event booths there, so you go up there, you get your event Pokemon. I've still got my shiny Eevee from like 2010 that I've never ever evolved because it's.
I have a legitimate Mew and a legitimate Keldeo from some events as well, somewhere on a game save somewhere randomly in a box.
I've got the. Exclusive John Lewis / Selfridge's promo Pokemon on one of my games.
That's cool.
Because it was the only place in Birmingham that was doing the promo. So we went there, had to go in, had to talk to this really... It's probably like the equivalent of like your son talking to someone my age about Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because I think we were like in our late... When did Diamond and Pearl come out? Like 2008-ish, 2009-ish?
5, I think it was, 2005. Because it was while I was at uni.
Diamond and Pearl?
Yeah, late 2000...
I thought 2005 was like Hoenn.
Maybe 2006? Maybe. Okay, 2006.
let's say 2006 because I feel like I left school then. But let's just say 2006. So like I would have been 16, 17. Me and my mates and my sister and her mates.
September 2006.
In English?
Yeah, that's Japan.
In English.
Oh, I imported it, so that's why I would have
In
said
English, goddammit, because I can't read Japanese.
It'll be April 2007.
There you go, so 2007, so I was 17, 18 then, so young adult. I went to this, I went to Selfridges in Birmingham with my sister, her mates, and my mates got there, and there was like literally like three blokes in the background who were like these big chunky older guys, probably didn't wash. Beard looks worse than my beard does right now because I haven't like looked after it today. Poor beard. And like they're this thing like, oh, do you like Pokemon? We like Pokemon too. And it's like I can just imagine like your son looking at us and be like that. It's like, the fuck's wrong with you people?
Yeah, legit. He came round and he sat and played Sword, well, no, Shield actually, for quite a while when he came up for holiday.
Nice.
Not that I care, play if he wants.
No, yeah, just come up and have fun, man. Just sit, rest, have a break for yourself. But I think I've stolen enough of your time today because we've been like, what, at least 2 hours again?
Oh, God, yeah,
nearly 3 hours, I think, because it's like just gone 4 o'clock. So, big episode! I'm definitely not going to edit because I haven't got time to edit a 3-hour episode. So, every 2 minutes of verbal speech that I do on like an episode is like 4 minutes of editing normally.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm not spending 7 hours like editing this video. So it's going to go up live. We did it live. We always do it live.
It's going to go raw.
Definitely, we're going to go raw. One day we'll all have webcams so we all can look at each other suspiciously dead in the eye. But yeah, so thank you for being here today. Thank you for Mr. Brecken for also turning up. I know he had to go because his life partner had turned up. So I always ask him, like, how come you guys aren't going to get married? And he never answers me. So I don't know if it's a very sore subject or if he just doesn't want to get married. So
maybe they're not interested in getting married.
They've been together for so long as well. Yeah. Like, there's no. If you've been together for that long, maybe there isn't just a need to get married. But me and Catherine have been together for 7 years now. We've been married for 2. So what do I know? They've been together like 14 odd years, I think.
So now I'm been with Shannon over 3 years. But we have a mortgage, you know. And
that's it. They've got a mortgage together. You've got a mortgage together. Me and Catherine got kids together. So
yeah.
Well, we're married as well. So I mean, it's I suppose a bit different. But like, have you thought about marrying your current partner, or are you just happy where you are now?
Yeah, we're trying to have a baby and stuff, but
that's not marriage. That's a baby. 2 different things.
Yeah, no, we were supposed to get married last year. We were going to get married in Florida, but we couldn't go because pandemic.
Ooh. All right, there you go. Then. So there you go. Congratulations, sir. on a marriage that's going to happen probably in the near future, hopefully, once everything gets a bit more suited. Don't go to America. America is just a cesspit for COVID. They don't listen. Especially Florida. Have you seen the Florida? No. It's a podcast about TCG. It's not talking about Florida and COVID rates because that's weird. That's weird.
That's for a different time.
That's like out of all of America for COVID, like Florida is literally just like this weird place that like goes, it doesn't exist while everyone else around you is dying of COVID. Just it's what I say is like the American experience of like COVID. It doesn't exist. Everyone's just dying and coughing around you.
Just deny it exists.
Exactly. Thank you for being here, Graham.
No worries.
Hopefully you'll be on the next one. I don't know when we're going to do the next one. Obviously, I'm expecting that baby at some point soon. Hopefully it comes soon. Next week is the official release of the Digimon TCG in the United Kingdom, as well as Europe, as well as meant to be America, but they've been pushed back 2 weeks because of shipping issues for most GameStops. So maybe we'll have some actual like physical in-play cards we can show off and be mean. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, thank you for being here. I was going to ask you a question because luckily we did go a bit late today. As we meant to sort of go basically this is the second time doing this episode. Hopefully it did record the volume this time because it did earlier. But
yeah.
We were talking about picking your favourite cards in the Japanese media. So they're doing like, I think they're going to do either one of each or 2 of each in each colour. I was going to say to you, because I don't know if you've been looking at it, what's your favourite card so far in the set?
In the Digimon set?
In the Digimon set.
Ooh. That's a tricky one.
That you'd like to get reprinted.
Is that in the one that you sent me the link to earlier?
Yeah, the one where it's like pick your favourite card thing, like the population poll thing.
Let me have a look. Let me refresh my memory.
Any card you want, you can pick. I think I've already said this. I think Gaia Force needs to have a reprint just because it's only in the structure deck and it's only in the Evolution Tema box and it's stapled in red and it's going to be one of those cards that just goes stupidly expensive just because it's needed. And more of it will not drop the price of it. It'll just make it more available.
Hang on. Let me look. I'll look on my computer because my phone's dying on me.
Woohoo! I still have 71% battery and I've been up since 7 this morning. I don't know how that works.
I mean, the War Greymon does look pretty cool.
I don't know if they'll just do a reprinting of it, or if they'll do like an alternate art version of it. So things that have already got alternate arts are going to have a second alternate art, which I thought would be quite funny. Because technically, Guy Force has an alternate art, which is the one from the promo box.
The Dukemon's quite cool as well. Oh, the shield.
Good old Gallopmon. My favourite.
Gallopmon, yeah.
Call it Dukemon, I know. That's the thing, like, I've now got to the point where I know where the Japanese version of the Pokemon is into the English, so you can put it away if you like. I generally would know who it's going to be. So if someone goes Omegamon, I know it's Omnimon.
Yeah. I don't know, actually, to be fair. If they do the Patamon line, obviously that'll be a
they do the Patamon. So there you go. There's your thing to think about for next episode. Next time we come back, you can tell you what your card you'd like to see in an alternate art form. Angemon does have an alternate art coming if you win a tournament.
Does it?
So as I was trying to say about the promos, that Nick was like, "Go fuck yourself," about earlier. So in those tournaments, you have 32 packs. You have one box between a store for 3 months, but you also get a box of 4 packs as well. And you give those to your top 4 people. So you give it to your winner, your 3 runners up, and they have in promos or alternate arts of the Garurumon, Greymon, and Angemon from the starter decks in alternate art forms. So you can have an alternate art, but you just have to somehow win a tournament with no cards. You just turn up and slap your dick down and go like, I want that pack over there. Look at this deck. You can scare everyone before off. It's like, yeah, my pack now. So yeah, so that's what I've been trying to do. For those who don't know, I've been trying to get one person said they had a webcam tournament going on, but there's no prize. They said they got prizes. I asked what the prizes were. They said they don't know. So that's always a concern. We have prizes. What are they? We don't know. Right, since Graham's bored of me, I shall leave him be. Thank you guys for being here today. I know it's a very long episode. We don't normally do these 3-hour episodes. If you enjoy these really long episodes, please let us know. And we'll try and get onto some more things like this, because we just talk for England, really. Right, it's a bye from me. Like I say, it's a bye from Graham. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for being here. Love, peace out, goodbye.